Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games.
Bob, we've got a job.
Good. KZ Excellent.
Catchphrase.
And Mr. Feel.
No maidens?
Here on GigaBoots.
Hey, Bob. Oh, crap, he's not here. What? Whoa, what was that?
Bob can growl.
Somebody used Moonstone on Bob and he got huge.
I don't want to see the evolution chart. What's baby Bob form?
You know, he hasn't really aged that much in the last 20 years, so I don't know.
Okay. You did say that once where you're like, Bob looks the exact same.
Yeah, no, he really does. He just had more of a tan in middle school. That's really it.
Right.
He literally can
Never
wear
really thought much
the
about it,
same
except
shirt.
for all these weird holes that keep showing up on my neck, but it's probably unrelated.
Yeah, it's probably unrelated.
You're looking like a block of cheese.
So for anyone who tuned into our Friday Elden Ring stream, they probably got to experience us dropping frames of crap load and them going, man, this PS5 version's bad, isn't it? And I'm like, no, guys, the stream is just bleeding frames and I cannot make it stop. Yeah, it turns out by the end of that 14-hour stream, which is up entirely on the new GigaBoots Stream Archive YouTube channel, we don't have a fancy domain name yet. You can either just search for GigaBoots Stream Archive on YouTube or go to gigaboots.com and just click on one of the streams and it'll bring you there. Across our 14-hour stream, we dropped 16% of the frames, which means damn near 1 in every 5 frames. After several days of this not working out, including us recording the Curse committee this way, so Feel kept getting us dropping out as we're watching this fucking movie. I go, okay, I'm gonna talk to the ISP. I contact them. I use the website form. You know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna contact you to this guy in chat or connect you to this guy in chat. He's gonna solve your problem. Like, that never fucking works.
Never. Not a chance.
Connects me to a dude in chat. Dude in chat, this is like the most out of it, disconnected conversation I've ever had with someone through the internet as a customer support thing ever. I have to they ask a question. I answer it, nothing for minutes. And then I have to say, so what do you do now? And things like that to poke him into saying anything. We get to this point where they go, are you using Wi-Fi or Ethernet? Actually, no, that's not the first question. The first question is, what type of device are you using with your internet? And I go, I use them. Yeah, that's literally what I said. I'm like,
all of them.
Every device you can imagine I have used. This is
It's 2022, not 2004, motherfucker.
My fridge uses it.
I only use my Kindle. So I say that.
Feed me a stray cat.
That's what my smart fridge said. I don't know what's up with that, but who am I to argue with my Samsung smart fridge?
It's going to explode.
Then he goes, Ethernet or Wi-Fi? And I'm like, okay, look, everything. Every type of device, every type of connection for device. This is a legitimate problem. This isn't one device. And then they go, okay. And I go, now, just so you know, I power sacked the modem on my side. I have done that multiple times across multiple days. They go, okay.
Listen, motherfucker, take me to layer 7 of the flowchart. I know you.
Right.
No.
We can skip those other steps because I've done them. I've lived.
Listen, customer service rep, life is a choose your own adventure. And I'm going to need you to skip to page 32.
I'm going to need you to skip straight up to wake up sure you can fix my internet.
So after I explained, I power sacked it multiple times. Dude goes, okay, we're going to reset the modem from our side. Let me know when it reboots. Nothing happens for 6 minutes. I still have internet the whole time. I'm just watching a YouTube video. I'm doing other shit. Nothing's happening. I think the customer service rep went to sleep. Finally, the internet
You got the one that has narcolepsy.
I fell asleep and my head went and landed next to the button.
Finally, the internet cuts out. And I wait. Then it comes back. And I'm like, okay, well, this little chat box, this chat window hasn't reconnected me to the customer service rep. While it does that, while it's trying to figure out I have internet again, I'm going to go do a speed test. Our download went up 700 megabits. It went from 130 to 850, basically.
They unclogged the pipes.
And I'm like, holy shit, that actually worked for once.
Yeah, that never works.
No.
No matter where you are, no matter what ISP you use.
That never works.
Right?
It's usually just so this means the entire problem was not even at the pole level. It was just deep in their infrastructure. Some software level. They needed to disconnect this from the sauce and then reconnect it. And ever since, internet's been bulletproof. It's been great. I'm like, holy shit, how did that work? That is not supposed to work ever.
Yeah, I can tell it was
That
really
is
bad.
Fantastic.
Even when you were streaming, I'm like, web pages are struggling.
It's like if somebody was like, can you check in the back? And the employee's like, ugh. And then they go in the back and they come out and they're crying. They're like, it was in the back. Thank you. Everything's saved now. We can get breadsticks to everyone. Yes.
It's like if I ever went in the back when working retail and it was actually there, I'd lie. I'd be like, no, you have to learn not to ask, so I'm just going to lie. No, it's not there.
Don't ever give them a reason to think it will happen.
I very quickly realized I'm the only human being who ever checked the back.
Well, you hear people ask it all the time, so clearly now that you're in the position of power.
I'm working at CVS, and I notice, it's just me and Jim Ratgazer. We're the ones who check the back. Everyone else on every other shift at every other store does not.
No.
I go to Publix. I'm the only person at all of Publix who seems to check the back. Most of them, and I worked in customer service, so they're the exact people who are supposed to check the back. Maybe somebody on grocery crew is actually checking the back, but no, they have lower, giving a shit energy than anyone in customer service. I go back there countless times and I just see people standing in a corner and I go, what are you doing? They're like, I'm checking the back. Okay.
That's really funny. See, I worked at Home Depot, which literally didn't have a back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was no back there. And then I worked at Target, where we had a stocking system that would just tell you if something was in the back.
Yeah.
So if somebody was like, "Can you check the back?" I just go be like, "Okay, I'm gonna have a sippy of water from the water cooler back here and just hang out for 5 minutes, and then come back and tell them that no, I'm sorry." And I'll hold my breath for a second first, so I look like I was really trying.
Go ahead.
I work at a place where people can see the back, so I'll tell them no. They'll look over my shoulder and point to a random thing and go, "But it's right there." No, it's not.
I'm sorry.
That's not okay. That is not okay. In my entire history of working retail, which was way too long, it's insanely long. It was only towards the very end of working at Publix that one time somebody's like, "Can you check the back?" And I'm like, "We just got our delivery. It is not going to be I explained the technical terms of the probability that it is in the back is so low, ma'am, but I will check it for you anyways if you want." And then she goes, "Yes." So for the first time ever, I go to the back and just stand in the freezer. I'm like, there is a fraction of a minute percent that we have this, and it would require someone taking a thing directly off of the truck and burying it like it was an Easter egg in the freezer under a pallet.
Egg.
Yep. But the internet says you have it. Ma'am, the internet says that there are pizza chains running human trafficking circles. So maybe I don't give a shit what the internet told
we're
you.
not going to trust the internet on this one or anyone, actually.
Trust me, I'm an expert on grocery store stock.
It's always so stupid. It's like, what advantage do we have to not give you this, ma'am? Do you think the internet is right and that I'm lying and we pretended to check?
Do you think Tom
when it's
in
right
grocery is just looking forward to buying 10 boxes of pre-made breadsticks at the end of his shift? Is that what you think?
Do you think this is like a GameStop thing where that stuff is new product, so we don't want you to buy that?
Oh man, speaking of which, I almost got in on that $15 off on Elden Ring glitch. Did you see that?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, what?
They accidentally were like, yeah, if you're a pro member, Elden Ring's $45.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, now, I'm pretty sure Bob can return this copy that he bought for me because he's a really nice friend and he knows I couldn't afford it. Should I?
That's like $1 for every 15 hours of content.
Yes. So I'm just sitting there sweating and I'm like, no, don't pull the trigger. You're going to make your life too complicated. You already got enough shit going on.
There's a lot of math going on here.
Don't pull the fucking trigger. Later that day, GameStop's like, yeah, we canceled every order that people did that on. And
they're like, we can't do this, man.
Sent an email saying, oops.
Yeah, we looked at the numbers, and that would come out to us losing somewhere in the ballpark of $45 million.
Where it's like, I'm sure by the end of after a year of that being out, they're going to be like, yeah, we sold 20 million units on this game, so they definitely don't need to do this early.
Right? Hell no.
Apparently.
I got my copy for $45 because I ordered it 2 years ago when Amazon was still like, we'll give you a big discount if you buy the game, if you pre-order the game
Yeah.
and have Prime.
Way back then.
Yeah. Didn't you say, Phil, that the PC has already pushed 8 million copies of that game?
That's what Steam Spy says. It says like 5 to 10 million.
That makes sense. Dude, you get that many 10s, people will...
Oh, I'm sorry. That was 3 days ago. Now it says 10 million to 20 million.
Yeah, you get that many 10s from that many different outlets and people will just crawl into whatever wheat thrasher has your game in it, including the PC version.
Yeah, it's, this is the next Cyberpunk in terms of hyped up game releases, and
this one at all deserves it.
yeah, they're not. Yeah, and this time it's an actual RPG, and people are not trying to not trying to toilet paper The Office.
Yeah, I want to say...
It's a shame that it still has that DX12 shader problem, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, my heart goes out to everyone who bought it on PC, but at the same time, if there's one thing I've consistently said for the last 160 episodes
yes,
of Big Thick Dimension is do not buy a Japanese-developed game on day one on PC, especially if it says From Software on the box!
But Dan, PC is better though.
It seems like they might have fixed it with the most recent patch that made it actually use your graphics card.
Where it defaulted to your integrated.
It's got problems, not the least of which is the shader compilation thing. For people who don't know, on consoles nowadays, what happens is your game ships with the shaders pre-compiled for what your hardware is. On PC, everyone has a different graphics card, everyone has different drivers. So you have to compile those shaders, and none of these PC games, well, I think there's like a couple, that are these cutting-edge console games, none of them have, except for 2, this feature to just boot into the compile shaders menu and just let it smooth out performance. So in games like Elden Ring, the first time you see a sword clang, and it has that specific spark, it will hitch. The first time you see a skeleton who's a skeleton, it'll hitch. The first time you see a skeleton who's slightly ghostly, it hitches. like it just...
You knock out the skeleton so it starts its res animation, so it fucks up again.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just that's what happens. That's the nature of the beast.
It's always hard when I look up streams to be like, oh, this performance seems fine, because every streamer who plays this is playing it on like a 3090 with all the highest specs. So I'm like, oh, this looks great. Someone spent $4,000 on their computer, so this is fine.
Yeah, I mean, you can go see the Digital Foundry video. They run the game with the best gaming CPU with a 3090 or whatever at 720p, and it still has hitches.
That's hilarious.
Like, it literally is just, it's engineered wrong. Even weirder than that, though, they do, at one point in the Digital Foundry video, a G-Sync mode, and then measure the stutter in there, which there shouldn't be, but there's constant micro stutter for some reason. But yeah, anyways, my heart goes out to you. You should probably know better.
You hit them in the hand.
Sadly, The only way you can play this game stably at 60 frames per second is if you have a PS5 and are using the PS4 version on the PS5.
Yeah, that definitely
Which
helps.
is insane.
What was it? The Digital Foundry video came out, and they're like, you can actually play an Xbox One game on your Series X. You just have to disconnect it from the internet so the smart delivery doesn't get you. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of makes sense in hindsight.
Yeah.
I've been playing it on just the native PS5 version because that's just what I downloaded at the time, and I'm like, well, I've done 7 hours. I can't just start over. I refuse. And
Yeah, that's fair.
whatever,
I get it.
Whatever. It runs in like high 40s and stuff. So during like its lowest points for me, so it just becomes this thing of I'm not noticing it to a degree where it's like, oh no, I died because of the frame rate.
Yeah.
That sure is what fucking happened, huh? I've never had any of those, so I'm just like, whatever. And also, the grass looks nice.
The entire industry is like, here you go, KZ. You get the frame rate pass. Anytime you die, you can just blame it and people will buy it.
Yeah. And
You're like, yeah.
And I'm like, I wish I could use this, but I don't believe it anytime it happens.
Yeah.
That's why you got to play Dark Souls games on the online mode so you can blame the ping.
I am making sure to play online, which means every single stream, at least once, they go disconnected from the PlayStation Network, and then it just kicks me out of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know why you did this. My stream hasn't dropped a frame. All right, we're back in. You save literally every 5 seconds, so I lost nothing.
Yeah.
There's that, and then every day I never actually closed it the way they want. So every time I boot the game, they stream, "You didn't shut down your computer last night."
Oh, yeah.
Windows didn't shut down properly, so something bad might happen, and I load the game, and I'm like, "This is exactly where I left off."
I love that because that's the natural pop-up of you rage quit. I'm like, no, I didn't. Where they're like, you closed this in a quirky way. I wonder why you did that.
It's a mystery.
Like I turned the console off because I was going to sleep.
And they're like, no. They're trying to trick me into playing like an adult, where I just thumb over to quit game, then close the app.
No game has ever asked me to do that other than a From Software game. I'm not going to do it ever. Fuck you.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I guess I'll do it just because I don't want you to yell at me.
Yeah. Plus, I think the PS5 version exclusively did say it might have issues if you go into rest mode and you didn't exit like that and the power goes out. That's what it's like. The only version of this game that might delete your save.
Oh,
I do know the latest
about that.
I do know the latest patch said something about PS5 save progression.
Oh, thank God. I was like, oh God, if that happens to KZ, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, that integrate. Well, first of all, I'm closing it properly. Two, that latest patch was like the integrated graphic stuff on PC, and the Sony thing was just that save thing. It was literally the only thing that changed on the Sony side was that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Every human on this podcast, including the one who called in sick today, has played Elden Ring. So I guess we'll just go into talking about Elden Ring.
I mean, you say that.
Oh wait, what? Have you not?
No, I haven't.
Oh shit! I figured from your comments on Twitter you had. Like, there were a couple of comments about Elden Ring in reply to other people saying things. Wow.
I couldn't tell you, but I had some life TM happen, and I still haven't wrapped up Horizon, so I haven't started Elden Ring yet, which, based on some of the articles that are coming out about hitching and stuttering and save corruption, I'm like, ooh, awesome.
Yeah, it's a chunk of a game, so even delaying it a week is like, you're not going to be that far behind people, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm like 39 hours in on stream, just streaming it, and I go, all right, I have 2 massive zones left.
How many had you gotten at that point? Like 4?
Yeah, something like that. I also did a lot of the like long quest lines and stuff, which means I got to experience what seemingly is their evil zones, but I still have a lot more to go through. This game is, this is kind of like that dreamlike game that you assume this is like the dream version of a game someone makes, where it's like, it feels a lot different when it's an open world and you can just adventure wherever you want.
Yeah, I mean, it successfully makes that transition to being an open world game, which almost never goes well, and almost never happens. Like, people constantly ask, I want blank series I love, but open world, but massive scale. And I think this really lands it. I don't know that any FromSoft Dark Souls fan ever would be disappointed by this. I don't know why you would be. Like, this thing really does stick the landing. It not only has what you expect from a Souls game, but it also adds all of this great, like, they nail being an open world, you know? They didn't ruin what Souls was. They didn't do the most rote, unjoyful open world. Like, they made a fun, cool thing to explore.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until like more deep dive content to talk about some of the hilarious shit that they did, because I really have encountered what might be the funniest set of enemies they've ever made. Because they went insane with this game.
Yes, they've definitely gone deranged with a lot of things in this game.
Yeah, like I came up on an enemy and I went, "This is the funniest enemy I've seen in my life." of just concepts of what is wrong with you, of just some stuff. In that, I feel like the open world is so good that it kind of like overshadows the fact that this is like easily their best story they've ever done, like by a large margin. Where normally you get everything's already happened in one of these games, so you're just kind of decoding what happened, and there's a couple of characters that are cryptic and insane, and then they'll just say stupid things at you, and then you have to like piece things together. This one's an active story filled with people that are alive that talk to you, and then you learn connections between different characters. So you have a lot of setup for main bosses, to the degree where it's like one boss got incredibly hyped up through separate NPCs and events and lore, and I didn't have to read a single item to know about it and like be installed and like ingrained into what's going on. And that made me like the game a lot more.
Yeah.
And, you know, instead of opening up a fog door and going, "Oh man, this is buff shit ass. He's coming in. I don't know who he is, but he's cool."
Buff shit ass, the Scourged.
Yes.
I was going to ask you, what's your build looking like, KZ?
I'm running a high intelligence mage with some like sword stuff, but it's mainly just mage stuff.
Okay, cool.
Fairly early on, I think it was like maybe the second stream, I found what seemingly was my most useful spell. It's a gravity type magic where I pick up 3 rocks and throw them at an enemy. And it hits them so hard that after 2 or 3 casts on a boss, they just get on their knees. And they're like, "Oh, that hit, that shattered my poise. It's not going great over here." And I'm a caster, so I'm so far away that I can't actually do the crit because I can't run to them fast enough.
We'll just cast 4 more times while they're getting up.
Yeah. That's what I do. I just keep on mashing that button.
Feel, what's your build looking like?
In every one of these games, I use the same initial build, which is I go strength.
Mm-hmm.
I go
Correct.
strength and endurance, so I swing the biggest, heaviest strength weapon I can find and wear the heaviest armor I can find. And I'm really happy that I also found the hand ballista for my ranged option.
Yeah.
Jesus. That sounds awesome.
So it has led, because it's kind of easy, but it also because you do an insane, like the peak strength build in one of these games is when I hit a boss once and I'm like, 1/7 of his health is gone.
Yeah.
Yup.
I guess I just need to land that hit 6 more times.
I'm the boss now.
I'm so excited about all the builds and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm the fucking boss here. You have to survive me.
Yeah, that's basically where it's at right now. I'm so excited about the builds that they have going on, where it's just like, here's a build Fexer Live put out. You're just dual wielding serrated weapons, and you're just attacking with both at the same time to immediately make the enemy get bleed. And bleed in from software games.
Bleed is you explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fill that meter, and it does a little explosion that does like 1,000 damage. And
This seems
crazy.
like it's weird that they made the game with the most build variety in their game that is astronomically massive.
I love that.
So there is definitely going to be people who never play another game for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is gonna dominate most of my year. I feel.
They made Dark Souls Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. There was a tweet that I saw that said, "This is not Dark Souls 4. It's Dark Souls 4, 5, and 6 all at once."
Yeah, you can tell we haven't even scratched the surfaces of weird builds and hybrid builds and builds centered around this one item you have to do 8 different side quests to find in the bottom of a hole somewhere.
I fell into what seems to be one of their most expansive side quests ever, where I'm like, I think I'm on step 17 that I'm bumbling through this. This is easily their best game. What is going on with some of the stuff that they're making you do for this? What I really like is, there's no quest log in this game. You pay attention to what they tell you. Sometimes they'll tell it to you once in great detail, and then you just go do it. And then you look for them. You look for them. You find it.
They're somewhere.
Yeah, they're somewhere around the area. But sometimes they'll help you out. Like there's a dude in the hub very early on that's like, "Oh, did you pick up that thing? All right, I got a dude. Hold on, I'll put a red mark on your map. Go over there."
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Yeah. But this game's stupendous and dense, and there's so many different bosses and enemies and random insane stuff going on. And then I'll just come across a small little Skyrim dungeon thing, and then they're like, this one has lava in it, and it has that awful, horrible trap that's past the tutorial area of the game again. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so much worse than that one. They're like, what if you had to deal with that thing that you use the key on at the start of the game, but there's lava on the sides? And I have not finished it because I don't know what to do. I literally tapped out after doing it for 20 minutes going, chat, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's turning and I don't know how to beat it in speed.
It's really funny how you can tell that there's some things where they're like, this is optional, so fuck you.
Yes. Yeah, there's a
like I found like an underground tomb that was literally just a boss room. Like there's no level before it. I'm like, well, what's in here? 2 of those pumpkin head guys with more health fighting both at once.
Holy damn.
Or I walk into the room and it's like, there's 2 of those cat things in here. One cast spells.
Yeah, I saw that. Some of that shit's just mean, and they're just like, whatever. You can just come back. It's not like it's hard to teleport around the map.
But then you can do it too now, thanks to those ashes things were really smart.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where you can just.
I like how if you don't want to do co-op, you can now use the ashes. Like I summoned 2 skeleton warriors to help me. If they don't get hit once their health is depleted an additional time, they'll get back up with full health.
Oh, that rules.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have been really digging the variety of those ashes that I've been seeing and how clearly different ones are for different things, and they have strengths and weaknesses, and it's just this whole deep extra thing they bolted on.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome.
Yeah, sometimes I want the skeletons, and sometimes I don't like you, dogs.
Yeah, that's the one. I love those dogs. They seemingly have just made one for every enemy in the game, and you'll just find them. Like there's this awful looking bug enemy that like shoots Gundam bit like air blasts at you, and I finally found it in ash form, and I went, "This is the best. I love this." And then you can upgrade. You can upgrade them too, which makes them even stronger. I found one that's named. Yes. Those are the rare ones where they want a much more rare glove root
material.
Much more rare material. But you can continue to upgrade them like a weapon, and that ups their health, that ups like their damage and stuff. So you can you can bring in a tank. If you get a named dude, sometimes it's just I enter a boss where it's like it's 2 dudes. And the other one never even engages with me because my other dude's just running straight at him with dual swords. Just doing insane combos. It really helps, and I much prefer that over summoning a person just because I want these games to be a single player experience for me personally, so I just never want to engage with any
whenever I would summon, it was always NPCs.
Yeah, I never want to deal with like online people.
Or NPCs or Eric.
He'd be like, hang on, I have a build for this.
I was going to ask, it's my understanding that when you summon an online person or, the AI for a boss battle, it does in fact give them more health. Is that correct? Has anyone confirmed that yet?
Probably. That's how it's worked in the previous games.
Okay, yeah, that seemed to be what it was doing there.
Yeah. Or
But, you know.
makes them tankier. I like some of the items they have, even if I'll never engage with the online, where I picked up an item that's description says, makes your appearance look like the host of the game. And I'm like, this is for when you invade and then you make yourself look like, because it's an open world.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're like, is that our guy? No.
I
Shoot him.
I'll use my hand ballista.
tarnished season. Yeah, no, this is a vastly more enjoyable game than Demon Souls. What a great perspective I have on the franchise.
See, I'm really happy that it's
13
bringing back.
years later.
It's actually bringing back stuff I liked from Demon Souls, because like this game feels like it has the most. You can be the asshole min-maxing piece of shit player who's like, I circumvent the GM's entire encounter with this obscure item I found in the source book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really has
It's like
that vibe.
somebody was like, somebody's like, here's my build. I don't use spells or melee. I give everybody a terminal disease with these items and then run in a circle until they drop dead.
Yeah, I love how you can die to some bullshit thing and go, all right, so when I go down this hallway, there's a little goblin dude who's like behind like the door in the blind spot, and he's gonna jump me. So before that, I'm gonna activate my spell to put summon swords that auto attack any aggroed enemy. So when I walk, they immediately shoot him to the left, and it staggers them immediately because it hits them 5 times. And they're like, oh no, this wasn't supposed to go like this.
See, I found an area where a witch was shooting a gigantic magical bow at me.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
And if it hit me, these fucking arrows were missiles. They have a giant area of effect explosion, and if they hit you, you die.
Hmm.
And I had been pumping vitality, so I have more health than the average player. So it's a callback to Dark Souls 1, because you beat on them for a little while, and then they teleport further into the area and continue to shoot at you. So I do that a couple times and chase them to the end of the area, which is a big circle, like a circular balcony. And this fucking witch will not come close to me or let me get close. They teleport away the instant I get near them. And what you're supposed to do, I guess, is dodge through their bullshit and hit them like once or twice before they get away. I'm like, no. You do not deserve an honorable death where I have to try. I'm going to hide behind this pillar and step out to shoot you with a poison arrow and then step back into cover. And I'm going to do that until you're poisoned and then just watch you die.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to treat them with the respect they're currently treating you.
Yes.
And I love the From Software games. Sometimes they'll just let you do that. They'll just let you be entirely disrespectful, where some people are like, sometimes people have learned stuff like, if you're on a horse, you can't do the heavy strike in the air, but you can if you started the heavy strike before jumping. So people are just finding ways of doing that, or using whip attacks to hit things through walls. Yeah, there's a lot of really fun cheese strategies that people are coming out with this game that I really like.
Yeah, I rolled my first build. Wasn't liking how I was going.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
Rolled the second one, went way better immediately. Found a better weapon. Found the cave full of shit to upgrade weapon.
Oh, yeah, that's so that's so good.
And then I fucked off to a cool peninsula to explore. That was a really good part of the stream. Also, that guy at the end of the peninsula is 1 billion times easier to kill than asshole on bridge.
Yeah, I really love the idea where FromSoft's like, we're gonna make the plot force you to go up. You're supposed to go down. those bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've run into more, like 4 different instances of the classic. You have to step on the button in the center of this platform to activate the elevator. But you need to step on it and then roll off because the actual area is underneath that elevator. We're pieces of shit.
I do like that because there's so many of those, especially in mines. And then usually, whenever you find like a mine in here for the important upgrade materials, at times it'll just end at a boss, and it's like, you beat the boss. Here's this item. you give it to someone to just unlock certain tiers of upgrade materials in a shop forever. And it's like, I need to get this one that has the good high tiered stuff so I can get something really, really strong very quickly. Mm-hmm. But I really do like that. I get excited whenever I come up on like some sort of mine, except for one that had some really annoying enemies in it. And I'm like, please stop shooting me.
Yeah, I'm really jazzed about getting to play more. Thank God all this other stuff is getting out of the way. Because I had something come up at the last second where it's like, I finally had time. Why did you release this game now? micro targeted at me. I'll talk about that during my segment. Did you guys have any more you wanted to talk about with Elden Ring before we move on?
Not really. Nothing that is beyond like a deep dive, but yeah, this has been incredible. Really, just I'm a joy my entire time with it. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay,
from like a surface level type of thing.
Feel?
No, I think I've said enough for the moment.
Okay. I guess I'll move on to what else I've played.
Okay.
So the developer Bunny Must Die released a Kuso game from 2004.
That's what it looked like based on that art I saw last night.
Straight onto the PS4 just now.
Holy shit, is that what that was?
Yeah, this thing's awful.
Oh no!
I deeply love Bunny Must Die. I recommend people try it with the understanding that it does not control great. There are certain Metroid brain spiders that got into the developer's head that make that game control worse than any normal person would come to the conclusion makes sense. This is so much worse.
Oh no, that's unfortunate.
Let me explain what this game is real quick. So this game is a really bizarre take on a classic Vania. It is called Super Zangura. Original name, oh God help me. Patience, viewers. Maid-san wo migi ni : shooting star. This is, as I said, a classic Vania, but you can't just, this is an Aiju Murasame game. You can't just like have a normal fucking game. So, this is quirky as hell. It's quirked up to the max. It's insane.
Goated with the sauce.
Each level is 3 different micro areas, or I guess they call the levels areas. Anyways, every area is 3 micro levels interconnected. You get a health bar and 3 lives to get through it. There are tons of things that I want to be the guy you and kill you in one hit.
Okay.
That come out of nowhere.
Cool.
You should know the ground there is going to activate spikes from the ceiling to crush you and kill you because there's a blood stain. You should know that's a false floor because this item didn't land on it. You should notice all of these things. It's kind of insane. I can't recommend this to any living being, which is insane because I recommend Bunny Must Die to everyone. However, this game is very funny. I am now going to post a gameplay pic of the first boss of the game.
God damn it. That's not that funny.
That's not that funny. Why am I laughing?
The best part of
Oh my God. Yeah.
the best part
That's
is
sure plantif de positif.
yes, that is absolutely their shit. The best part is it is a direct parody, the entrance of the werewolf from Dracula X, Chino
fuck
Rondo.
yeah.
So it's a cool silhouette in the background that just flies into the sky and then it lands and it's this cherub statue pissing fire.
Just enemy.
It's really funny. There's some enjoyable aspects. However, there's a real puzzle-like nature to some of the levels. They definitely don't design it like a normal classic Vania, to the point where I got stuck on level 4B, which is the second to last level of the game, the second, micro level of that level. Because it's this gigantic thing of like, you need to find the route through with these keys to have exactly enough keys to open all the doors to reach this thing to get that stuff to open this door. There are so many micro mechanics, like this dude worked into Bunny Must Die, and some of the shooters where, for example, you're playing through a level, one of these subsections of an area, and there will be hourglasses. Now, insanely enough, the hourglasses, the moment you activate them, they're a checkpoint. If you die, you go back to them, okay? They just float there and they flip the moment you touch them. But when they flip, it starts a timer. And if you die during that timer, that's a freebie. So you just get to restart at that hourglass without losing a life. It's like, oh, okay, that's a nice mechanic until you realize also there's a level of completion with this game where you make it through the entire level without that timer ending. You have to make it to each hourglass before the time on the prior one ends and then beat the level all in one go. Ooh. So it's like micro mechanics for sickos, just like Bunny Must Die. There's, you would think this game, it's just a classic Vania style game. So clearly Maid-san, which is her name, and she's here to kill an immortal Dark Lord, will use a whip. She sort of uses a whip. She throws out this gigantic boulder-sized morning star that is attached via chain, and normally you just throw it out and it hits whatever and it stops. But if you hold up and you charge the attack button, you spin it above your head, which lets you throw it really far. It also goes through walls. And also, while you're spinning it above your head, it will kill projectiles that are trying to hit you from above. This is something the game does not explain that you need to know to make certain areas traversable at all. Oh, and also, it makes you fall slower. This dude, I swear to God, cannot make a normal game for the life of himself. Like, seriously. It's hard as hell. It's $20. It should not be. I beat the game within an hour, and that included me getting... how many times did I die? I died nearly 100 times playing this game, because it has a death counter on the title screen. It's one of those. It's one of those games where it's like, oh, you died this many times. Isn't that hilarious? I'm like, yeah, I sure didn't notice that tiny blood stain. You're the funniest fucking game around. And the solution to stage 4B was not like a eureka moment. It was a moment I would describe in more detail, but I don't want to spoil the solution to the only progress gating puzzle that actually is challenging in this whole game. But it doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel great. This game was enjoyable. If it was cheaper, I might recommend it to people on a lark. Got some really good title art they put out with the game that I've posted. But as it currently stands, like I can't really, like, there's some funny stuff in it. It controls like it is one of the worst feeling platformers I've ever played. Like its contemporaries in this regard would be like Eurojank, like Amiga platformers, Commodore 64 platformers. Maybe it's just the PS4 version's fucked up, but you have to hit the jump button way in advance of you getting off a ledge, right? Like you have to hit it multiple tiles before you're at the edge. There's just this feel to it where it's like you click and then wait like it's a PC game running at 10 frames a second that's 3D, like, and it's 1992 or something. There's all these cool mechanics, but at the end of the day, the only sober difficulty level is the first difficulty level, and it Ghosts and Goblins your ass and it says, yeah, that wasn't, do it again. I'm not gonna do a real ending. And to some extent, I was like, okay, it's just gonna be the same thing but harder. No, they made it much fucking harder. The spikes or certain traps now kill you in like 3 hits instead of like 8 or 10. They've rearranged every room to become immensely more bullshit. And all sorts of other stuff. And I'm worried that when I beat it on that mode, a thing I'm not sure I'll ever do. I'm going to stream this game at some point because I would like there to be living video proof that it exists. And it literally is that obscure of a game where I was only able to find one playthrough on the entire internet of any difficulty, of this version anyway. Yeah, it just... I can't recommend this. I can't. Its soundtrack isn't as good as Bunny Must Die's. It doesn't have the staying value. It's not as funny. But there's a couple good bits in it, and the mechanics are neat. Bob put down Bunny Must Die because he couldn't stand how that felt. That was a few hours ago. I do not believe Bob would make it to the end of stage 2 of his own volition. This game is this nightmarish. Anyways, that's $20 gone. They tried to trick me into paying $29 so I could get the soundtrack. I was like, dude, there's no way. 0% chance. No, absolutely not. But yeah, whatever. I'm the guy who owns this game now.
Yeah.
That's me in the role I was born to play, baby.
Can you get that on a shirt?
Yeah, I'm the guy who owns this game now as I hold up my copy of Evergrace.
Yeah!
Or as I will hopefully have a physical copy of soon, the sequel to Evergrace that they changed the name of in the States because they said, nobody fucking knows what Evergrace is.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, we played new Pokemon Snap on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had those really great announcements for Pokemon we'll talk about later in the news segment. Mm-hmm. New Pokemon Snap's great.
Yeah.
That game looks really good.
And it's huge.
Like, Bob's coming over from Arceus, and he's just floored. He's like, this game looks so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, no, it looks incredible. There's lots of really neat stuff. There's an involved story. The guy from the last game's hot now, as chat kept saying.
Yes.
It's really great. Absolutely a joy. I wish we had played it sooner. It just got buried in all of the we have to stream blanks last year.
Yeah, it came out the same day as Returnal.
Yeah, that's personal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was literally one of those things where it just crashes. It's kind of like how Kirby is going to come out the same day as Ghostwire.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's rough.
I feel like the only way they're not on top of each other is if you pre-order Ghostwire to get early access.
That's true.
We need like an arm of the ESRB to independently manage this shit.
Yeah.
You can't aggro. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped.
Yeah, for example.
So we need a branch of the ESRB to be like, you can't release Babylon's Fall until 2024.
That's what I was going to say. The ESRB just sends back the note, don't.
Yeah, honestly, delay Babylon's Fall to when is that David Cage Star Wars game coming out? We should probably just link them up together.
Never.
They're just soulbound now.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to put a life link on that.
I firmly believe somebody's gonna buy Quantic Dream before that game comes out.
They have plenty of time.
But yeah, new Pokemon Snap's great.
Yeah.
We use that as an opportunity to, we're gonna start doing Poke Monday streams again.
That's cool.
Yes, it is so cool. I'm extremely excited. I've been mulling over for hours what sort of genetic freak I'm gonna roll with each game. Mm-hmm. Still stuck on that of just this would be really cool for these 3 gyms. This one Pokemon could just deal with it all.
Yeah, it's like...
But does it know Thunder Punch?
One of them will, the one for 4th gen.
Mm-hmm.
The weird thing is Thunder Punch is a very breedable move.
Very submissive and breedable.
Yes, apparently. I looked it up. It's showing up everywhere.
Look at this submissive egg.
Kind of a hoe, actually.
Don't shame.
I'm just saying, Thunder Punch be everywhere.
Don't slut shame this Infernape.
Oh no, the Infernape's fine. I'm talking specifically about Thunder Punch. That shit's everywhere. It's like Alakazam can learn it? Really? It's a punch.
You see, what I tend to learn through various different ROM hacks. If it has hands, sure. Except that one time we were doing a Nuzlocke with my friend PM, and he's like, it's an Arcanine. It's a dog. Why does it have close combat?
It just starts spinning like a barrel roll.
And I'm like, yeah, this looks like a Dark Souls boss movement where I'm like,
yes.
What?
But yeah, I'm super excited for that. I fucking love Pokemon. I really do. I'm glad 9th gen's looking good, but we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
And new Pokemon Snap's so fucking good. I'm looking forward to finishing that. Hopefully Bob feels better by Monday, but I don't know. People will know by whether or not we're live.
Yeah, it really was just like last minute before we started where he's like, yeah, I have a fever. I probably shouldn't come in. And I'm like, yeah.
You are correct. Yes.
Good call.
That was a very good call. You nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see with that. Anyway, I think that's all the games I'm going to talk about. We now move to KZ. Did you play anything other than Elden Ring?
I was able to sneak in the entirety of that Kirby and the Forgotten Land demo they dropped today.
Oh yeah, I also played that. Go ahead.
It's very nice. I like that there's going to be difficulty options for this game, which I did not know. There's Spring Breeze mode. That's, the approachable one. Then there's one that's supposed to be slightly harder, but you get more coins. I don't know what the coins do.
The coins are going to be used in the shop in town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you apparently get more coins from various things. So I just picked that one. It's like wild mode.
Yeah.
Wild Mountain, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's such an adorable and on-brand and non-offensive difficulty selection.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it totally fits in their style. All the cutscenes are like really high, have like high quality models, and it kind of freaks me out a little bit. You just count the hairs on all these enemies that are in it.
Yeah. The cutscenes are super high fidelity. No speech or sound effects, just music. So it's like you're watching an old animated tune where it's synced up to like pre-recorded music. Yeah. It's interesting in that way.
Yeah, you're hanging out. Kirby gets launched through a vortex to a completely new world,
and a slide whistle goes off.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you immediately start with this first level, and then they do that classic like you're exiting the vault, show off this large area, this broken down city, and then they zoom the camera out a shit ton to just show like the scale of it as you're running around. And it feels weird where you're just picking up powers, and it's like a reminiscent to kind of like Mario 3D World style.
Yeah, it's the Crash Bandicoot. It is wide.
Yes.
But it is a hallway in a sense.
Yeah, and then, they've accounted for like you can't hover a really high distance, and they change perspectives a lot where it's like, okay, there's like this, sometimes you're going to be like top down when you're on top of like buildings and stuff, and you're adapting your powers to different different stuff like that, and they try to cram as many of the mouthful mode things as they can in that demo, like the car.
Yeah,
the cone.
Being able to jump while a car was such a shock to the system.
Yeah, and then they'll have like there's tons of secrets in that where there's this big ramp of like the earth has lifted up, so you can do this ramp. But if you go around the side and go like the middle chunk that's sticking out, you can crash through it and get a bunch of coins. Or
I thought it was really cool that the car has that dash mechanic that can just bust through walls, and the traffic cone has a midair like flip upside down, slam it to the ground to crack open the earth.
Yeah, and there's also the mechanic of kind of like with Kirby 64 had the crystal shards you look for. Here, there's hidden Waddle Dees in cages that you can find beyond just the main ones at the end of levels. And
this literally has the Kirby's Dream Land 3 get these tulips. Like for anyone who's played that one specifically, that's one of the first optional goals in that game. And it seems like every level will probably have 5 tulips you help grow in this.
Yeah, I did see that where I finished a level and they're like, you got all these things, and then there were question marks, and they revealed like make 5 things bloom.
Yes, that was neat because some of them are in your path, but other ones are literally like, oh, you opened up this thing, but if you look at it, there seems to be a little bit of walk room there, and then you end up walking under the entire terrain, kicking open a wall at the end of it, and then there's a flower in that area that you couldn't see before, and you make that bloom. That's really neat. I appreciate them giving more of a reason to more deeply explore the individual areas in this.
Yeah, they really inspired a lot of confidence of like they really know what they're doing with a lot of this stuff. There was one of them was like they put a cone that's suspended by a vine on a side area, and then you use your cutter power to cut it down. Take that power to take down a thwomp-like enemy where it's like it's mostly made of rock with a crack on it. You shatter that, it dies, and then you get a Waddle Dee out of it that you can uncage. And they have a few things like that. And then there's like an enemy that your idea is that you're running around it and trying to get behind cover while it tries to bite you. and like break through things so you can like get an opening.
Yeah.
And they even had like a full ass boss, which was
What
just
power did you use, real quick, on that boss? Because you get a choice before you go in.
I made the mistake of using the ice power and then started getting rid of that thing, because what they want you to do is blow ice powers on it to build up icicles on it, and then they'll shatter and do a little bit of damage. And then I took that thing off and then went, but if I just suck in the stars that it drops off attacks, it does 3 times more damage.
Yeah. The ice.
If you keep building ice, he'll totally freeze.
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't doing very well at getting in, and I'm like, I could just suck up these stars, and it's knocking them out pretty fast.
I assume that's a way faster way to do that battle. I did the ice
missed
one.
bombs so hard when I took ice in for that.
Yep.
I'm like, I could just be rocking this guy right now.
Because like you see the ice, it's the first power up of the lineup of 3, and it's like
the new one.
Yeah, exactly. It's the new one. It's the one that weren't in the 2. It wasn't in the 2 other levels.
Yeah, so you kind of gravitate toward that, but I'm like,
but it takes forever to kill this boss, and I'm like, I hope not every boss in this game is me with the ice power hanging out in between its legs, just frosting it over.
Yeah, it was so surreal fighting this boss, where it's like it's 3D, it's doing these sweeps that I jump over, and then I try to suck up two of the stars it leaves behind, because then that does super damage. And then it has like 3 distinct phases where it gets new attacks. And it was just really satisfying. And then you also pick up like gachapon prizes through the normal levels that when you finish, they then do a really satisfying pop as they open them up and show you what you got.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Phil, to describe Gorimondo to you. So he's a giant monkey in a 3D game that pounds the ground, and a shockwave goes out slowly that you must jump over.
His third...
No, but he has a mohawk, so it's legally distinct.
Yes.
Yes, his third phase is quite original, where he puts his arms out and spins, and then goes toward you slowly for about 8 or 9 seconds.
It's really good. I was like, this is happening, huh?
And I'm like, this is the lost second N64 game that Kirby got.
That was honestly my Kirby experience goes 2 on the Dreamland 1 and 2 on the Game Boy, 64. This. So 64 to this was such a beautiful, smooth, even transition. It feels like this was a lost Kirby game from a gen or 2 ago.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Where Kirby 64 was the first one I played, and I really, really loved that. And this just kind of feels like that next step. Because I also like the way they adapt the forced fight combat rooms of a normal Kirby game, where it's a side scroller, so just suddenly you can't leave, and then they just pop out of thin air. Whereas here, a giant blue barrier just appears, and then the enemies just drop in from there, and it's like, okay, just do it. It's like Kingdom Hearts games have this energy wall that appears with hexagons around it, and this has like a similar thing of just take them all out. Sometimes they'll just put 2 power-ups 2 steps before it,
right?
And it's like,
I
know what's
energy
happening.
Wall. You're in danger.
Yeah.
No, I have the bomb power. I'm not in danger.
Yeah, no, the bomb, I really love how you bowl the bombs. If you move and try to throw it, you literally bowl them. And I'm like, that rules.
Yeah, this game also really helps the scale of some of the mini bosses, where it's like, here's a slightly bigger powered enemy. And I'm like, okay, they actually do feel a lot bigger, because there's like a bigger swordsman with a little shield in, I think, the second level that's like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you kill them, and then you can immediately suck them up and get
power. Yeah.
Get that power. There's one major unfortunate thing they've done. In co-op mode, if you get a piece of food, you no longer kiss your partner, you give them a high five, and that is unacceptable.
Boo. Unacceptable.
Kirby's supposed to be baby bird.
Honestly.
I'm Hal, need you to stop these homophobic tendencies here.
I'm just...
We have intelligent systems for that. We don't need you to get involved too.
No, I saw that when I woke up. I'm like, come on.
They should have just viscerally had Kirby baby bird into the co-op partner's mouth to be like, this is what we were doing before. Do you appreciate the extra fidelity?
Yeah, Kirby going,
just regurgitate the food on your tongue, and they pick it up with their tongue.
Yeah, that's what I need.
It's a very involved segment. It takes a whole minute.
Yeah, I really like that the vending machine that you can turn into has ammo, where it's like, you have this many cans. And then when he's out, he's like, eh.
Yeah.
His eyes just become flat when he tries to shoot instead of straining to shoot them out.
There's like a Waddle Dee in a water tower on top of a building.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's the... Oh, God, to get it, you have to, like, half mouthful mode. You just... put your mouth over half the water tower and then move the stick so Kirby like fishtails his feet back and forth, trying to pop the top of this thing off like a gachapon lid.
Yeah, that was what got me alarmed, where I'm like, oh no, it's not just like random power. Sometimes you're just going to have to do it to random level specific event things. And I'm like, you're just going to eat the whole planet and it's going to be really fucked up.
I was really happy when like you do a mouthful mode thing and you dismiss it and you still have your power from before.
Yes, because they put your tiny little hat for your power on top of, vending machine Kirby or car Kirby.
Yeah.
No.
So it's this car Kirby with a wizard hat.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is the greatest day ever.
Yes, exactly. It's really good. Part of me was like, I wish the sword play was a little better as the sword Kirby, because that stuff's really developed in a lot of the 2D Kirby games, 2D gameplay even.
Yeah.
But if you recall from the trailers, you level up powers in this game.
You do. Yeah. So it's something to look forward to, like when you get spikes and then it turns into the Kirby 64 of there's a bee stinger and some scissors and a pencil.
Yeah, they showed abilities even on the sword one in those trailers where it's like, that's a move I can't even do right now. Like like this crazy dive through the air with it. And like, that's really exciting. Mm-hmm. That's super cool. I appreciate that we've already seen that these Waddle Dees we're saving help build out the town.
Yes.
Because that adds even more reason to want to save these people.
Yeah, because they're going to eventually build an arena, and it's going to have 8 million fights in it, so I have to save them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super exciting. I think this is one of the most promising Kirby games in a while. It's nice to get something fresh in the Kirby space. Because they've never done 3D gameplay before,
Yeah, and this one's going to be less of a stomp, because the last one they made was so multiplayer focused that even when you played it solo, you still had 3 people with you for Star Allies. So I'm glad that there's going to be something that not only has an extra difficulty on it, it's more traditional alongside being 3D. So it's like, I'm not expecting it to be hyper hard unless I hit the arena, because then that's when they just start throwing some gauntlets at you. Yeah. But the main game, at least turning on the gas slightly, I feel like is going to really, really help it a lot.
The funny thing is, you were talking about that boss where it's the turtle inside of a rock and you're trying to get past it safely. I think that was like a really interesting design for an enemy. Yeah, mechanically, and I'm looking forward to seeing more like that, because as it's doing its attack, you're hiding behind pipes that it keeps breaking and trying to break into the ground to hide in the crater you made and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, this is cool. This is very promising.
Yeah, because in at that point, for people who haven't played, you're cone mouth, as they call it. So
I'm cone mouth.
You're cone mouth. So at some point, it's like
looking forward to a solid year of that.
Yeah, so you have to run over to this part of land and like slam into it to shatter, and then you hide inside and other stuff like that. But I've got nothing but I'm glowing about that. That was very nice. And since I beat the demo, they give you like a little code, a little password that you can put into the main game.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you get 2?
No.
Because they gave me 2, and they were like, because you're extra special. You tried very hard.
You got the flowers. I didn't get the flowers, so that's probably why.
I was like...
Oh, wow.
I was like, is this... I'm going to screen cap this. This is actually because I tried hard in the demo. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because I didn't... that flower thing's the only thing I seemingly missed on that checklist, so I have to assume because you did that, you get an extra code.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty weird that... because weirdly enough, the demo lets you select from the 3 levels. Mm-hmm. There is a completion icon it pops up with, like a star or something.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Yeah, when you hit that village, it sounds like these passcodes you get from this demo you can put in there.
Yeah, they said there's like some vendor over there that you can do stuff with that.
I'm very excited.
Which is neat, because that opens the door to them being like, okay, the game's a month old. Come back, put in this code.
I really like the gachapon thing. because we didn't talk about the little gacha capsules. When you finish the level, they actually give you like a paragraph or two.
Okay.
About them.
Yeah, I didn't look at like the lore of it. I just finished the level and mentioned it's like they pop them open. And,
yeah. It literally just gives you a couple paragraphs. So one of them was about the automotive company that made the car you eat. It was like, yeah, they're so strongly associated with quality. They say if it's good, it's Holine, because Holine was the name of the auto manufacturer or the industrial company. And then they go, well, if it was good. And I'm like, what? Why do you act like this?
Time to learn about the world from item descriptions.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, no, there's a lot of cool stuff in this. This is very exciting. It might be eating Ghostwire's lunch for me. I'm very excited for this, but I kind of want. You know what I'll do? Here's what I'll do.
What?
I'm gonna see if Walmart has it for $10 cheaper on day one. If it doesn't, I will wait 1 week, because usually someone does.
Yeah, because if it has for $10 cheaper, all you got to do is, pick it up and stream it in one sitting, and then you've knocked out one of the games.
Yeah, exactly. Just put a whole Kirby game in my mouth.
Yeah, do it the way Kirby treats other things.
Honestly, I am sitting here and I'm like, has there ever been a Kirby game that wasn't beatable on a stream easily? And I don't think there has been.
I mean, yeah, I played Star Allies, and I think I knocked that out in like 4 hours.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are absurdly short.
8
like
at
that,
the most.
I feel like the longest one's probably Superstar Deluxe or Superstar Ultra. Sorry, I get it mixed up because in Japan, Kirby Superstar is called Kirby Deluxe.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, that DS version adds extra arenas or extra modes.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
got Arena, True Arena, and then there's like the Meta Knight only mode.
Yes, that by the way is my favorite Kirby game.
I mean, yes, that's like Superstar was already like a gold standard for like one of those types of games, and
100%.
they're like, what if we doubled it?
Yeah, I need to crack open the Wii U DS emulator and see how good that thing is. See if you can inject other games into it and it behaves. I doubt it, but
yeah, that game's just delightful.
Yeah, and so was this demo. Like, this is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Did you play anything else?
No, that was it. I played 40 hours of Elden Ring and then slipped in 20 minutes of that Kirby demo while we were setting up.
Yeah, I did some living Pokedex stuff. I'm working on getting a living Pokedex. For people who don't know, that means one Pokemon for every Pokedex entry. So it's not evolve this and you're done. It's evolve this, breed a baby, and if there's an in-between form, raise another one to that level. The thing you immediately run up against, and I'm doing this in 5th gen, so that way it can go to most gens. The thing you immediately run into is you don't have enough evolution stones, and these games really hate giving you those.
Yeah.
That's Pokemon for you. The last 4 Pokemon I needed to evolve to finish my 1st gen living dex was 4 different evolution stones. And I'm like, I have 1. Oh.
Isn't there one of the games where you can just buy them at the store?
In 5th gen, you can buy some of them at the store if you have black, because it's White Forest, and you can go on certain days. I think it randomly draws what vendors are there. So yes, and I'll be checking that later today to see if it has the correct ones I need, because I think it's 4 pop up at a time and there are 8 possible cashiers, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not like the recent game Arceus, where they have like distortion fields that have a bunch of Pokemon that are not like the regional forms they have in that. So you get like the normal ones, like normal Electrode come out of it. And they just put evolution items all over the ground.
Yeah, see, this has the Nightmare version of that, okay? So for people who don't remember, 5th gen has like water splashes and dust clouds that randomly appear in caves. You can run into those to either run into a Pokemon or pick up a very rare item. Almost every time you just run into a Pokemon.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's all I've been doing. That's all I've been playing. Aggro, have you been playing?
Well, I mean, aside from the Kirby demo that dropped, which I finished up during the first part of this podcast, when I've been able to be playing, I've been pushing through Forbidden West.
Ah, nice.
Which, I mean, the only thing I would have to add about that game that you guys didn't cover is that you guys have rats in your brains.
Yeah.
Especially Bob, but that's a conversation we're going to have at a different time.
That's why I was so excited that you subbed in, because I was like, we're going to get the Horizon segment, and then they're going to pull out a gun.
Yeah, I was like, man, I was thinking this talk was going to happen months from now, but
Instead, 1 week turnaround.
It's great, actually.
What's Horizon?
Oh no, he already forgot. Elden Ring, why?
You're like, she would not post on r/atheism.
No, I mean, she would.
She absolutely would. I'm very excited to have a detailed conversation about the size and variety of rats in our brains, apparently, at some point.
Big rat tri-hole.
So, I was going to ask you, have you found a machine strike vendor? More than one?
I don't think I feel like I came across two, but I couldn't tell you where the other one is. So I probably only found the one and thought, surely I've seen more than one by now.
Yeah.
This is really unfortunate.
It would be fine if they didn't Magic the Gathering, like some cards are just Super Chads my ass.
Right.
Yeah, they really wanted it to be like trading card games in real life.
This one moves 5 pieces and does a shitload of damage because it's aerial.
Don't worry, they'll update the ban list later.
We'll get the Gen Con expansion where you can go and find the real machine strike vendors at the con.
At one point, Aaron, you can fight him in Machine Strike, and I'm like, I don't have good pieces. Damn it, Aaron's gonna have like good shit and wreck me, and then it pops up beginner, and I'm like, good. Fuck you. I don't want to get trounced on by you because the game doesn't have more than one vendor. But yeah, did you have anything you want to talk about with that? Like anything at all? If not, we can just move on.
I mean, not that isn't me going on like a screeching, deeply fanboyish tirade.
I would love one of those.
Yeah,
individual thing you guys said.
We have to backload this until I can finish the game and eat all the.
Right. So like I said, we will have this discussion at a later date.
Sounds great.
You're pointing at the WrestleMania sign.
I will.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to put this off till SummerSlam.
Eric's gonna rush in with the fucking briefcase.
I'm very excited.
He's like, no, this is a Kirby podcast now.
He's like, you promised. Okay.
Aggro just immediately hits Eric with a stunner.
Oh no! He'll never walk again.
Oh no. We now move on to Feel. What you've been playing other than Elden Ring?
I watched a couple things. I guess I can mention that because I didn't play anything other than Elden Ring. I watched Godzilla 2014. That movie fucking sucked.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
That movie is. I was watching it with people, and the movie starts, and Bryan Cranston's there with his son, the 7th gen game protagonist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this seems like a decent emotional through line through the movie. Bryan Cranston wants to find out about the event that killed his wife, and and Godzilla will be involved. So it's great that Bryan Cranston is the main character. Bryan Cranston dies 30 minutes into this movie.
Oh
no! Unceremoniously, without any real emotional resolution to anything going on in that, and then the movie becomes a maze.
Yes.
It becomes an endless, now normally, KZ, picture a disaster movie.
Mm.
It's like the main character navigating the disaster, there's a clear through line.
Yeah,
through the film.
I've seen 2012 a couple of times. I enjoy that one. It's like, oh no.
Godzilla 2014 doesn't have this.
What? Why?
It just shows random scenes of people running and destruction happening. And it's like, it's been 30 minutes since Bryan Cranston died. What the fuck is going on? What are we moving towards?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is the, it's just keeps, there's 2 scenes that repeat 8 times for the entire rest of the movie. It's military meeting with, Ken Watanabe, where the plot doesn't advance and nothing happens, and random disaster scene. Maybe Bryan Cranston's character's son, whose name is Ford Brody, I think is the character's name.
Oof.
where Ford Brody or Ford Brody's wife, who I can barely remember what she looks like. I remember she's blonde. Or them like just in random disaster scenes. And then at the very end, Godzilla kills a monster and it looks cool for 1 second.
Like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That movie's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, being on the outside of these movies has been very interesting, where that came out and people said this movie sucks. That they're lying in the trailers about how important Bryan Cranston is in it, and Godzilla doesn't do anything. And then that second one came out that's a few years old now, where all the reviewers said, no, this is the bad Godzilla movie because they focus on the monsters and there's not a good plot like the last one. And that's how I know that movie must be based as fuck.
Yeah, King of Monsters ruled.
I don't understand how any human being can watch Godzilla 2014 and be like, this has a great story. It doesn't have a story.
That's what every critic was like. No, that one had a real plot you could get into. This other one's just mindless about monsters.
It was some Michael Bay ass bullshit. But by like 2/3 of the way through the movie, we've somehow ended up in like Main Street, small town America, so we can have a bunch of U.S. soldiers look at each other meaningfully before we meander into the third act of this piece of trash.
That's like everything past the first 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's genuinely terrible. It's one of the worst films I ever heard anyone praise before I walked into a theater to watch it.
Mm.
I think I saw it on Blu-ray. It was intense. It was intense. The level of, guys, you should all be arrested. This level of no one warned me is not okay. Like, because there were people who was like, yeah, it's neat, it's cool, it's interesting. It's like, no, it's a boring piece of fucking shit.
I'm really convinced now that like 2010 to 2015, and it was dying by 2015, something being bad was like the height of art.
Yeah.
If your shit was boring as fuck, then critics loved it for some reason.
Yeah, that actually does match up, and it's kind of bizarre.
It blows my mind that the next film in that cinematic universe was that Kong movie that ruled.
Yeah.
Which fucking kicked ass.
Hell yeah, it did.
So you watching Kong Skull Island and then rolling back to this must have been catastrophic.
Yeah, I was like, surely there will be some. I heard like some positive. It was because I had heard both, and I couldn't detect which was right in my brain.
Yeah, I had seen two arguments, and I'm like, this one makes it seem like that 2014 movie might be terrible, but who knows?
Yeah, I was like, this movie, I will either watch this and be like, that was fine, I don't know why people got so mad at it, or this will be the worst dog shit I've ever seen. It was the worst dog shit I've ever seen. It's like game journalist brain from 7th Gen, where it's like, I played the first 4 hours of this game, and that's where they put all the set pieces, so this game is a 9, and then the entire rest of the game is dog shit.
And I also didn't finish it.
But the movie is 90 minutes long.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, it's 2 hours long. It's 2 hours long. It should have been 90 minutes long. Maybe anything could have been salvaged if it had been.
It is not hard to immediately cut to the core and realize that movie fucking sucks. Because
like,
at no point does it trick you in the first half hour. Like, you don't go, man, what a great film featuring Bryan Cranston.
Well, I kind of thought that, because I felt like I was like, okay, the human side of this movie will be Bryan Cranston and his son reconciling as they navigate the disaster as Godzilla does things. And then Bryan Cranston died and Godzilla does nothing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the beginning, it shows you the tools on the table, but it doesn't even begin to use them.
Yeah, because it throws away a third of the
it
tools.
throws them all away.
Yeah.
If you think way back to before that movie released, with that sick ass Halo drop popping red smoke trailer that made this look like it was gonna fucking rule.
I remember that.
I am so mad about that.
That's what made the reception hilarious. Not watching that movie, where I'm like, oh, it was all a lie.
Yeah. And other than that, I watched Hell of a Boss, the YouTube cartoon that got picked up by A24.
Yep.
To be a real cartoon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That cartoon, that fucking rules. Like, it is unbelievably funny.
Straight up.
Yeah, I was gonna go watch that off your recommendation this week.
It has some of the. I'm trying to think of like a comparison, but it does have characters talk like normal people talk, just really vulgarly. where it's really great to just hear a character who is voiced by Richard Stephen Horvitz which really elevates it.
Yeah.
Just be like, she just seems like you hired a meth addict off the street, and not even a smart meth addict. and then in that same scene, Richard Stephen Horvitz voices another character who is a 6-year-old boy.
Oh no.
Who is like, wow, he's your husband? I thought you were just a slut. I didn't know you needed dick that badly. And just starts howling. And I'm just rolling on the floor.
Holy shit. I need to ask, because it keeps happening with every media we stumble upon. Is there a cuck arc in this show? Because I feel like everything we watched now.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
Yes. And that is the episode that Norman Reedus is in.
Oh God, I forgot that was him.
That's really good.
Everything we watch, especially if we're gonna say it on content, just seemingly just has one, and that's like the requirement for good media.
I've learned that just everything has a cuck arc. Just every single thing. We just
Yep.
weren't noticing it.
It is in fact more universal than romance stories. It is like, is this a love story? Hell no, this is a cuck story.
God.
But that's my piece. That's everything.
All right.
I guess it's time for the Pod Lords.
Oh fuck.
Oh fuck, the Pod Lords.
Oh fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Fuck, I didn't prepare the Pod Lords.
Oh no.
Oh, fuck.
Man, Bob calling in sick kind of threw a wrench in things. I'm waking up, and the moment I finish waking up, I'm like, yeah, I'm good to go. Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, Pepsi Man found dead in Spain. Officer Jenny pursues the most likely suspect.
Pepper.
Red Blaze 27, Juice of Frost, Suzu Shiro, Emperor Zero, Shibuya Gato. Oh man, why you gotta do this to be Podlord? Sprigatito quiero respirar tu cielo. Sprigatito deja que te diga cosas al oído.
Yeah.
Is this the fucking lyrics to Espacito of Despacito?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, hell yeah, let's fucking go.
And the cat is put on Majima from Yakuza 0 doing the disco pose.
Yeah, it has the badass sunglasses. It's really good.
I love culture.
So do I.
Rado. 101 Shades of Babylon's falling straight into hell.
For being Babylon's fault.
We can only pray.
Who has time for editing Buseys when there's Elden Ring that needs playing? Question mark. You know, the scary part is I'm looking at this profile image and I'm like, that can't still be Busey, can it? They're being honest, right? They didn't sneak it in.
I'm looking,
Busey.
and those teeth aren't high fidelity enough to be Gary Busey's teeth, so I think we're good. I think it's just one of those bosses.
We've had
I
a
think it's
couple
just close.
powerful
It just has a
Buseys.
Busey-esque energy.
It does. I'm pretty sure that's like Misbegotten Night, and I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm fighting Busey every time you show up.
WTF Spider-Man. I don't know why people are worried about Sprigatito's final evolution, because Smash already showed us Sprigatito's final evolution.
Yo!
Yes, firegrass fighting. Let's go.
Triple types added to Gen 9!
The first triple type.
That's when I tap out on this franchise.
Quad types.
Like, this is too many things to keep track of. It's over.
That's why they added in the tooltips during battle.
That's right. Tarnish lords such as Hora Lu, Gold Mask, Dung Eater, and Varnished Busey.
This is what happens when you use a summon sign for your own bit.
DFW 3K. I mean, would you want to share a boardroom with this?
I like the horns.
Grab your bags, Bidoof Bros. We're headed to Spain.
Blocked by immigration.
Oh, no.
Invasive species.
Is Bidoof or Mew the invasive species at this point?
Bidoof.
Kristen. Doinkless. Tonberry offers you an accord.
Ooh.
No doinks.
I keep thinking that awful edit of just her going, I offer you a 2005 Honda Accord.
Bayonetta 3 Steam Deck Edition. Crap. I did it again. I forgot. Anyway, here's $50. Wish me a happy belated birthday, you beautiful human being.
Happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday.
I get
birthday.
a happy belated birthday.
A very merry unbirthday.
Oh no. Kyle Bjork. Maddie Moe. Clown Pants Apologist.
Yeah, keep apologizing.
Why does Patreon refuse to change my name? Iron Aggro. Blig de Blue. Schlig des Boo. Jesus. 7th Gen Energy Protect Carl says, no, I don't want to poke a man. I want to poke a woman.
Oh, woof.
I heard you team Rocket Broads with sluts. Is that true?
Monster Hunter Rising and Raiden. BN12. Shout out to Aurelia, MVP of Elden Ring.
Oh, hell yeah.
Jordan. Nothing will forestall his return. Cooper Tank. Oh, God. Jesus. Uh-oh. Okay, Activision employees, you can unionize or you can have what's in this box.
Oh, no.
Guys, there could be anything in that box. There could even be a union in the box.
You know how much we've been wanting one of those? What if Epic stole the shopping cart function from Bandcamp?
This really make me think.
AG's Bird Facts. Since most European ducks are brown or gray, Quaxley is probably a transfer student. And then in parentheses, fuck, wrong image. But that's Quaxley, right?
Yeah.
No, that seems to be Birdly.
It's a composite of many avians.
Oh, God. God, I forgot about this. Why does this game call it a watchdog when it's clearly Banny trying to kill me?
Man, why does Bandy move and attack with so little frames of animation?
Very powerful like that.
A 2-frame great sword slash.
World building tip. Just steal ideas you like and hit them with the hammer until the resulting heap looks interesting.
Yeah.
That is true. That is how everybody does it.
Mm-hmm.
Zastader. Mitzi. People keep asking if Lock the Chest is back, and I haven't really had an answer, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hey.
Indigo Sykes. If anyone bullies my little grass brother about his eye, they will pay.
So mean.
Looking forward to Lucario in Scarlet and Violet. A raccoon that is politely asking Game Freak for real raccoon Pokemon.
It is very strange that we don't have one yet. I guess we have that fucking weird thing from Gen 2.
Centret?
Yeah, Centrit's
No, there's one that's like.
Are you talking about Gen 3
Maybe it evolves-
Zigzagoon?
Yeah, are you talking about
No, I was talking
Zigzagoon?
about maybe it evolves into like a ferret, but its like initial form is like a raccoon type thing.
Yeah, the ferret Pokemon Furret.
Yeah, ferret. They tried real hard on that one.
Such
No, not ferret. There's
like their other Pokemon, fucking eggs.
yeah, Centrets. It's a weird raccoon rabbit that evolves into a ferret. What a bizarre thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Yeah, it's screwed up. But yes, a real raccoon
Would be nice, yes. Especially if they'd be
And
sitting.
Bidoof's close enough.
No.
But Doof's a beaver, right?
Yeah.
He El Po. Jack Frost is now a jackpot ho.
Love how when you hit those guys, they shatter.
I'm gonna tell my kids this was Kate Sif.
you kill one of those in Elden Ring, just yell half in the bag.
Shinji 16 is hype for Lovely Transpop, a music game charity marathon on March 19th, being run by Sarianosaurus. That is a hell of a name.
Jesus. Mark your calendars.
I love being a pod lord.
I don't know if you should say that in public, Prem.
Virmvarm, the real Super Catboy.
Sure, certainly much closer than that fucking thing from last week. Ugh.
Etchia Sketch. The Hard M. And Sarlene. Thank you very much to our podlords.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlords.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get many benefits, such as early access to Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool, our 2 anime review podcasts, extended armchair dev pitches and game premonitions, when the format of those shows force us to leave ideas on the cutting room floor, and a Patreon exclusive show, 1 per month, where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and talk about. That's patreon.com/GB podcast. And if you don't have any money, you can always help us out by telling your friends about our content. You know, if you think they'll like it. If they don't, you might want to find friends with better taste. Like just a suggestion. Patreon.com/GB podcast.
I mean, finding friends with good taste is a really good defense mechanism. You know, you don't want your friends to be like, yeah, that Godzilla film was great.
Yeah. You don't want to be confused by things like that.
Yeah, my favorite thing is high budget Japanese games on computers only.
We've got news. This week was like Uno, and me and Phil ganged up on Bob and KZ to use the skip card.
Pretty much.
Let me get the funniest announcement out of the way. Google invites people to join them for the Game Developers Summit for Stadia on March 15th.
What?
We're having it in this crypt.
Right? They're like, thank you all for coming, and then pull the lever.
What was that Tumblr convention where all it had was a ball pit in a giant room?
DashCon.
Yeah, DashCon. Yeah.
I'm glad Stadia.
The way I always remember the name is because I'm like, it sounds like a brony thing, but it isn't.
Yes.
I thought that for years.
Yes. It definitely has.
I also thought it was until this very moment.
It was only then.
Maybe the funniest thing about DashCon, they were going to have a panel for the podcast, the drama podcast. I don't even know if it's still going. It might be still going. Like the radio show style podcast. Welcome to Night Vale. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, and the panel was titled, "The cast of Night Vale will not be here," and then they canceled and didn't show up.
That's pretty brilliant.
Like it was a joke. Like
Yeah.
it was a joke because
The Night Vale
it's one of
people
those
named it
wacky
that
things.
as a joke, and then they were like, actually.
Literal. Yeah, this is funny. Fucking Stadia.
Yeah, that's insane. We already got those leaks about they're no longer interested in making it a platform. I feel like, is this a knee-jerk reaction to pretend?
Yeah.
Jeez, come on.
Maybe they just forgot to cancel it.
Google is just so big that, I'm willing to bet it's something closer to that. Just like the fucking left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Moving on. Camouflage, spelled with a J at the end, is opening a new studio in Kamakura, Japan. For people who don't know, this is the developer of Republic, the Kickstarted game that came out on mobile and then later PC and consoles, featuring talent such as David Hayter. They were formerly of Metal Gear Solid 4 staff when they did that. They're opening this Japan studio now, is the news. Their most recent project, by the way, was that Iron Man VR thing that no one played. It's being run by Ryan Payton, who was the company founder, so that's nothing shocking. And Matt Walker is going to head up the studio too, who was, producer at Capcom, for people who didn't know.
I
worked on the Devil May Cry 5 and that other Resident Evil thing.
Yeah, I know. He's like, I got him with Umbrella Corps, Operation Raccoon City. I'm like, that's really unfortunate. It's very funny to see him talk around. I was like, it was a very interesting starting project. And I was shocked to see that he had left. They've now obtained the greatest hype man.
Yes.
In terms of video games. He is the white guy who went on stage and just kept yelling Devil May Cry is back, for people who don't know who that was.
Yeah, Matt Walker's cool. He's a cool dude. Next bit of news. I need to make sure I have this written down. It may have been... Okay, nope. I got that written down correctly. Spider Sores, as in dinosaurs, but Spider Sores, is being announced for real consoles. It apparently already existed. It was an iPhone game a billion years ago, as Phil pointed out. But this game is a Contra clone being made by WayForward that has the conceit of being an 80s cartoon about spider-bodied dinosaurs. Reminder, they made Contra 4, so they have made a Contra before.
Yeah.
And I think the implication is that the evil scientist made the spider source so we could eat them?
Yeah, according to the conceit, the evil corporation tried to fuse them together to solve, food crises.
Yeah, to solve world hunger is my very favorite hand wave, why did we do this?
Yes. It's real good. Figured I'd bring this up. Don't know the legitimacy of this, but we'll bring up the track record. Account NGT on Twitter, person who's leaked a couple things so far, says new Sly Cooper and Infamous are in production. Infamous could get announced later this year. For people who don't know, Account NGT has a track record of leaking one thing before the Bungie thing and then leaking the Bungie thing about 7 hours before that happened, but then privating their Twitter account immediately after they announced or leaked that. It was a really bizarre day.
As the laser sights appeared on him, like the dude from Xenoblade 1.
Right?
Where it's like, no.
They did have a track record where they landed one thing before that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but so this is definitely rumor mill, but this person has been right on Sony stuff at least once, I think twice in the past.
I feel like when it's like one of those acquisition things, those things are like tight.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you got that, you must have a good thing.
Yeah, and
like a good line of communication.
And since it seems to be Sony related,
yeah,
this consistently falls along that path.
I think it would be a great idea for Sony to have their Ultra God King games like Horizon and God of War and Spider-Man. And then have no, these games are just nobility, like Sly Cooper, and they could make a new Jack maybe.
Yeah.
And other things.
That's how I feel about that.
Things that maybe don't cost $250 million to develop. Maybe you just give them 30 or 40 million in a couple of years.
Yeah, because Ratchet & Clank is the most expensive looking game from Sony. It's also not an open world game and 10, 11 hours long. So make more games that are that.
I need some second string stuff.
Yeah, because Sony has a great portfolio. They have an amazing catalog of IPs.
Yeah, they can grab a decent amount of stuff, and people will still come in and still get a few million.
We've talked about how Sony has spent all over a decade building the infrastructure that lets them ship games like Horizon twice a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is the next step of that infrastructure where it's in addition to that, we can also ship games like Returnal and Into the Nexus, or not Into the Nexus, Rift Apart, Into the Nexus is a very much worse game.
Into the asshole.
We can also ship games like that twice a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. Like the announcement of a Sly Cooper by the end of the year would not surprise me at all. Infamous would be a bit of an eyebrow raiser, but not an unwelcome.
Not
one.
if it was on the scale of Second Son, which is much smaller than any Sony open world game they made after that. I feel like you could make that game a game of that scale and it would be much cheaper than like Horizon or even like Days Gone.
Yeah, it feels like that would be cheaper to make than a Days Gone by a decent margin. The reason they're saying Infamous is likely by the end of the year is because of how long it is in development, seemingly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, or at very least, that sounds like they're more primed to make that announcement. That is in one of the other tweets they made. I only screen capped the main one.
Yeah, in general, whenever it's like an open world game that is a checklist open world game, since we're starting to get ones that are more exploratory based, like Elden Ring, I like it when it's smaller. So it was like a Spider-Man or something where it's like you can get through the city fairly quickly, and it's more attainable to get everything in it. Because I felt like Infamous Second Son wasn't that much of a pain in the ass to plat.
No,
when I went through it, I tend to prefer those like that. So I feel like a lower budget open world game can do pretty well when they don't have to worry about. I don't want a country. I don't want that.
Right, less of an open world thing and like more of like the term we used to use, which was sandbox.
Right.
Yeah. And
that's the thing. I don't need Infamous to ever become Ghost of Tsushima scale.
Yeah, I don't need so many of those. I'm fine with like a checklist open world thing, but if it's a smaller math, it's a lot better. Like I remember when I first played Spider-Man PS4, and they have I think it was like the photo missions or something like that, or like the backpacks, and I knocked it out in like an hour.
Yeah, the backpacks are fun.
And I'm like, that's all of it, and that's just done. And that felt really refreshing compared to like a Ubisoft thing where they're like, okay, you've done 10% of it. We want this to take 90 hours. And I'm like, you've lost me.
Yeah. So that would be exciting if true.
Yeah.
We'll see. I really hope this gets announced because hot damn.
Yeah, it would be nice if they have another superhero tinged thing that isn't just, the licensed Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, I think if Sony does successfully transition into this era of studios are making 2 games at a time, they're different scales of games, they're bringing back some older IPs, they can really do a lot to bring themselves up to parity with Nintendo's software offerings.
Yeah, where you get hills and valleys in terms of games.
Yeah, I feel like Nintendo currently and for the last couple of years has been basically the industry leader when it comes to consistently having a compelling release of games every year.
Yeah.
I would give Sony second place and then obviously Microsoft a distant third. I would love to see Sony, successfully transition to being that Nintendo scale.
Yeah, I feel like we go through this every time we have a Nintendo Direct that reveals a bunch of stuff where it's like, wow, they really fill out the year every time, huh?
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes they're a bit weaker, but they're still putting things out.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, I think their average is way higher than most people.
Yeah.
Honestly, Nintendo feels like it's getting better.
Yeah.
Like they're actively fixing because the first couple of years of the Switch, so many games had like, this team was not prepared to develop for anything resembling a console at all. They're from the 3DS. They're bleeding. Their organs are all over the floor. It's like
an Omega Force helped them.
like Fire Emblem 3 Houses, where that entire game takes place in the JPEG dimension.
And I saw screenshots of this is what the Sword and Shield Wild area looks like compared to things they showed this week. And I'm like, okay, I will finally concede that was a 3DS game.
I mean, yeah, the wild areas in Sword and Shield were definitely... we couldn't get our concept ready in time. Let's staple the Pokemon to it.
The real Pokemon game came out 3 years later.
I was so hoping you remembered my favorite bit for Big Think Dimension, where one week I always remember you go, well, it turns out the real Pokemon game's coming out never.
I'm still going to be sad that we didn't get a third version of Sword and Shield, just like we didn't get a third version of X and Y.
Yeah, I know. Where's Pokemon Z and where's Pokemon Gun?
Yeah, exactly. That would have been nice. But,
yeah.
Yeah. I hope that Sony rumors true.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I want more smaller games.
Housemarque is working on a new IP. It's in pre-production. There's nothing else.
Yeah, speaking of smaller games,
I hope it feels as good as Returnal and maybe doesn't have a horrible story.
Yeah, I hope it feels as good as Returnal and it is cool as Returnal and isn't a roguelike.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
they can't do
it'd be
those.
really great if they made if they made something like that was more like a normal progressing game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Just make a normal game that plays like that, and it'll probably be in my top 10.
Yeah. Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake and also Resident Evil 7 are getting next-gen upgrades. If you already own it, it's free.
Nice.
The features
Damn.
are higher frame rate, ray tracing, 3D audio, and DualSense technology. The port is apparently being done by Neobards, the developers of Resident Evil Resistance and Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
All right.
That's weird.
Huh.
I mean, if they have 120 frame per second mode on 3 Remake, that's
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
big.
That's what I want.
It's another reason for me to go, all right, I'm going to stream all of RE2 Remake again. Let's go, guys. We have another reason to go in there. Maybe they I'm just thinking 3D audio to really know when Mr. X is inside my ass.
Yes, it's exciting.
I'm like, I can hear those footsteps perfect in terms of directional.
I hope they can get a ray tracing mode that runs at 60 frames per second, but I'm not holding my breath. Devil May Cry 5, because when I brought up it's very unlikely, people were like, Devil May Cry 5 has a 60 frames per second ray tracing mode, and I go, no, it does not. It has a mode that can, if you're staring at the floor, hit 60 frames per second.
They went, well, I play DMC 5 at 60 frames a second, and there's a ray tracing mode.
Yes.
And they just slammed them together like a combo pizza at Taco Bell.
It is, that mode is like 40 to 50 at best. It's pretty rough. Hopefully they fix that because, I agree with, I think it was Alex Battaglia over at Digital Foundry. The screen space reflections are the worst part of the RE engine. If you replace that shit with ray tracing, that would be amazing. Thank you. For some reason, their screen space reflections, it's the only engine in the entire industry where it looks like it's breaking up in a weird way. It's really hard to describe. Even they have difficulty explaining it. So it would be amazing if we could get a 60 frames per second ray tracing mode. I would play that. If it's 30, I'm not even going to touch it. I'm just going to stay in the high frame rate. Even if that high frame rate is it's native 4K 60, I'll just be like, okay, sure, that's high. You lock 60, that's technically higher. I can't sue.
Whatever, your games already look unreal.
Yeah. Epic Games bought Bandcamp?
fuck off.
Yes, that is
Right.
the end of my note here. It just says fuck off.
This is the worst type of acquisition where Microsoft buys Bethesda. People can make up shit about New Vegas 2 happening that it isn't real. But with this, there's nothing. It's just like now more people need money. There's no possible advantage to Bandcamp for being owned by Epic. It's just now the best case scenario is nothing gets worse. That's the best case scenario, and that's always the shittiest kind of
And that's
acquisition.
not a positive.
Yeah, I'm going to state my opinion, then I'm going to talk about artists I know on Bandcamp who had some thoughts. One, Epic Games is like, for people whose brains don't work, let me just break this down. Epic is getting into being a music label. I don't know if you realize that's what they're doing. They're becoming a music label / distribution platform. There's no rational reason for that other than corporate greed and the need to acquire companies in order to become the Omni company.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking about how they got Bandcamp recently. They picked up Harmonix, and Fortnite was known for just hosting concerts in it.
Yeah.
You can start to see the path that they've been laying down the past couple of years.
I'm not a fan of this. I don't think this ends well for anyone. One of the reasons I like Bandcamp is that it was a smaller company that gave more profits to the artists and let me buy in lossless formats. I like them a lot because of that. Not a fan of this. One artist I follow, Danimal Cannon over on Twitter, formerly Arm Cannon was the band that they used to do, and now they're just a solo artist. Fun fact, they actually composed music for the Devolver Digital, like, insane conferences.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
I also like Danimals.
I assume. Who knows? They think since there's a lot of work that could be done on both the front end and the back end, especially on Bandcamp's tech, that there is a space and a possibility for Epic to improve things on the platform from a technology standpoint.
That could, in fact, happen.
That is vaguely possible.
And maybe angels could come down and give everybody $100 bill.
You see, that's in that mystery box that they could open.
That's true. I
need somebody to come in and fix up my storefront. Who am I going to call? Epic Games, top of the list.
Yep.
all like this. I'm sorry, but this is such cope. No giant conglomerate buys another company to invest more money into it.
I hope they can do something, but Epic has dragged their feet so much on the Epic Game Store that it's like, I don't know how in the world they could possibly facilitate any sort of savings, technology boosts, new features, or anything on the back end or front end for Bandcamp.
No, they don't. They also don't want to do any of that.
Yeah, it seems bizarre. Today in Conglomeration has OnePlus news. Funimation is moving all the content over to Crunchyroll. Since the podcast is out by the time you hear this, I had personal stakes in this because I just had to use Funimation's app to watch that GigaBoots episode 45.
Yes.
Their shit barely works. Also, they were founded and their CEO is homophobe, so hopefully he will be gone.
Yeah, hopefully they erase fucking Gen Fukunaga or whatever.
That would be...
yeah, fuck him.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all Funimation's content is over on Crunchyroll now.
Yeah, was that anime that we watched, was that the one where we tried to start an episode and it just started shitting its pants constantly?
Yes.
Like are the very...
their player sucks. Their app is worse. I don't know if everything's over there by now. Like, a lot of it was when they made the announcement. They're still working on moving some stuff. They're working on, like, getting your watch lists moved over and that kind of thing.
I did have a question because I didn't look into it too deeply. Is this gonna fuck every single person who buys those Blu-rays and gets a code for Funimation's digital copy?
Not a clue.
Yeah,
I don't know if they've even made an announcement.
Yeah, that is one, like, question mark of, like, you should just move that over and just make that a thing you can just watch on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I feel like if they don't do that, they're gonna get sued.
Yeah.
So, I feel like it's a strong. They're probably gonna.
Yeah.
I saw a couple mentions of like the rest of Verve's shit getting pushed into this, but I haven't seen any solid confirmation.
Yeah, there's something with Verve also getting folded into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see that play out. Also, one more layer to this story of us trying to watch The Genius Prince's Guide. That app was only available on one thing I owned.
Yeah, Funimation app's like on TVs.
Yeah. It's not on the PS5. I don't think it was on the Xbox because when I did it on the Xbox, it was the Verve app way back when they were a part of that.
Yeah.
It good.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll's not even good video quality, but at least it's stable and about as good as Funimation looked.
Yeah. They just need to improve some of their player stuff, and definitely organizational stuff. I've seen some threads that describe how they display seasons. This insane drop-down menu when you pick a show where it's like, here it is. Here's more of the show. Here's the sub. Here's the dub at the very bottom. They need to...
Yeah, we're listing season 1, season 2, season 2 German, season 2 Portuguese.
Yes.
Yeah, I need it to be... There's a show, and there's a drop-down menu of sub and dub, and that's it. I don't need... Do rah-rah-rah 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then separating in dubs that are out of order. And also the main thing that Crunchyroll doesn't have, where it's all their dubbed content doesn't have closed captions. So they need to do something about that, too.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, that formatting's
that's
consistent.
That's some fucked up thing with anime in general, there's so many DVDs where it's like you have it on English, so you can't have subtitles.
Yeah, but
Which is either some regional thing or we don't want you to know that's different. It's like, I understand how things work. Please just let me have them.
Yeah, I'm like, I understand it. Funimation, at the very least, on their app has like captioning on like their dubbed content, so they just need to roll that stuff over.
Yeah,
and improve it. Now that this is becoming one of the bigger titans of how you get anime, aside from like something like smaller, like High Dive.
Well, to be fair, Funimation is just Funimation is a proper anime distributor who licenses the content for regions.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll is a little different in their role in that sense, and since they work with so many different Japanese companies to get their anime for streaming in the States, it may just be probably a majority of the companies are such a pain in the ass to work with on that side, where that could be the reason there. Because Funimation, of course, they solve that on their end when it comes to signing that deal.
Yeah.
That could be the case. But it would be nice, and I do want that improvement to be made because Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have the Pokemon thing.
All right.
Time for even more Dan talking.
All right, bring it.
Pokemon Day event ruled. I'm really glad I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, I woke up to that and I was just like, what is everyone? Oh my God.
Yeah, did they announce that before?
They did.
Did they just guerrilla drop it?
They were doing like a Pokemon Week thing where they were like doing little mini announcements and like artwork and stuff. And then it's like, here's that Pokemon Day we do every year. And this time we're really going to slam the dick on the table.
Yeah, they did the announcement and people immediately were like, they can announce 9th gen? And I'm like, on one hand, Arceus looks a little Spartan, so it makes sense. And on the other hand, Arceus just came out. Are they?
And I'm like, okay, I guess they had 2 teams and that was one of the more minor teams so they could do something experimental.
So, Pokemon Go Alolan update will be out by the time you hear this.
Okay, cool.
In fact, it is out now. They started the Alolan update by having Alolan executors start invading immediately.
Oh no, stop, help!
That shit looks hilarious on the map view.
Oh no.
It's just giant
It's like,
spires.
Let me just angle my phone up.
Yeah, can't see the top. They announced some stuff for Pokemon Master Sex.
Okay.
It's getting new content. You get 3,000 gems for just looking at the game and giving it the time of day.
Yeah, I love when gotchas do that.
They announced the Victory Road stuff. You're going to get 5,000 gems if you beat it in order to get stuff. They showed off May with a cool outfit, and Latias, Skya with a less cool outfit, and Tornadus. I guess that makes sense. A less cool Pokemon as well. You got Raihan and Flygon. It looked neat. Pokemon Master Sex, it's a game. Somehow Tosh completely missed existed. I'm like...
It's kind of... They kind of do that gotcha thing where they kind of just get to do whatever they want with some of them, where I just saw like a cutscene of like Cynthia in like dark Giratina Queen outfit.
Yes.
Where I'm just...
they get to do shit like
where
that.
Where they get to kind of go raw, like the Fire Emblem thing does it, and they'll listen to the soundtrack and go, what the fuck's going on over there? What are you doing?
For anyone else who missed it, Pokemon Masters X is a game that has been out for 2.5 years.
If you want to hear various Pokemon video game characters in a video game with voice acting,
yes,
this might be your one-stop shop, baby.
Yeah, that's the place you go to get that. Pokemon Cafe Remix still continues to exist. The updates they announced are very funny. You can make Pelipper be your dealer and home deliver food.
Dude, that's great. You might get me in.
You get some new outfits. They had that Bulbasaur with a fucking crown.
Yes!
Hell yeah.
Bulbasaur's happy.
Yeah, you get that as a part of the 7-day event for Pokemon Day. I'm like, oh god, oh yes. Victini can join your team, but you have to bribe them with good food.
Yeah, that checks out. Stupid thing with his ass wings.
This was a really good looking update.
Yeah.
I'll give that game another chance at some point. Pokemon Unite got an update. They're adding full fury battles where you can spam attacks like a fucking moron. The cooldown becomes instant.
Okay, I will now run with Snorlax mashing yawn.
Pokemon Day event adds Hoopa, the Hoop God, which can warp around allies, and their ultimate lets them transform into Hoopa Unbound.
Are you the Hoop God?
He has been unbounded. He is now the Hoop God.
I need to play that. If they've more than doubled their roster the last time I played.
Yeah. Complete all the special missions, you get Hoopa. Hoop God. The funniest thing and saddest thing announced on this day is you get a shitty shirt for logging in that just says Pokemon Unite or Pokemon Day on the t-shirt.
That's really pathetic compared to the gacha being like, we'll give you all the gems.
We'll give you these cool traders and these really awesome outfits. This is like, we'll give you a I'm with stupid shirt.
You get the I bought this game, I guess shirt.
They ended the Pokemon Unite segment by trying to get me hyped about Duraludon. Good fucking luck.
Which one is Duraludon? Is that like the multicolored dragon dude?
No, you're thinking of a cooler one.
I was thinking of like the red blue one.
Duraludon, I'm going to post a picture of it. It is the one that is a gray, like spire mountain sort of thing. It's a dragon type, steel dragon. It becomes like its normal form. Its normal form's whatever.
Oh, that's the one
real
from Sword
thing,
and Shield, right?
Yes, the real thing is the Gigantamax, where it becomes a skyscraper.
Yeah,
that's the funniest thing.
You see, I forgot because I always think about the jet one, the jet ghost one from Sword and Shield.
Yes,
and also the apple pie.
Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl got Shaman. It only lasts until 27th of March. Some people think this is a really cynical FOMO type move, and to them I say, have you Pokemon, right? They do mystery gifts. You used to have to go to GameStop for this shit.
Yeah, you used to go to GameStop to get like a shiny Gengar,
or go to Toys R Us for God, what was the last Toys R Us one? Jirachi.
And I'm like, have you engaged with Pokemon ever?
So, it mostly comes off as FOMO because there are a lot of people who don't want to buy Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and I don't blame them. Shaman's model's hilarious. Bob was like this. What was Bob's comparison? I know my comparison was somebody spilled guacamole on this Chia Pet. Something about the image made it really look like that. But yeah, that's a thing. Pokemon Legends Arceus is getting the Daybreak update. There are Pokemon outbreaks going on. It's weird. Thank you, trailer.
Yeah, I think there are outbreaks even in the main game where they show like an icon and that means like a shit ton of a Pokemon shows up, so it's easier for shiny hunting.
Yes. They're trying to say it's breaking out all over the place. They're adding new Pokemon battles with your allies at the training grounds.
Nice.
And then they showed Palkia/Dialga as a horse.
Wait, why?
I don't.
That's a spoiler. Why would they do that?
I figured it was a spoiler. I'm like, is this the end of that fucking game? Why did you fucking show me that? That game came out like a month ago.
And that's the main game's final boss.
What the fuck are they thinking?
Like,
should we censor me saying what they showed?
Whatever. They showed it on Pokemon Day, so at least they didn't spoil any of the post game content.
Yeah,
which really is the real final boss.
I don't.
But still,
they're insane.
Yeah,
they're insane.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with them with that.
But if you use the password Arceus Adventure, you get 30 Ultra Balls, 30 Gigaton Balls, and 30 Jet Balls in Pokemon Arceus if you do it soon enough. I didn't write down the cutoff.
I should probably do that.
Yeah, I bought that
a lot of them.
I bought that a week after the game came out, and Tosh ate the whole thing in 3 days. I need to boot that thing and just type that password in.
Yeah,
because I know I'm going to come back to it.
Yeah, you're gonna want to get those. You have to grind your thing a decent bit to be allowed to craft them.
Yes, I believe, and also even to get this mystery gift, you have to get 2 hours into the game to get the mystery gift.
Yeah, you got to get like established and stuff. But yeah, you got to get closer to endgame before you're allowed to get the Ultra Balls. I don't think I've ever used a Gigaton Ball.
Yeah, that thing looked really cool.
Yeah.
They announced they're going to do an online animated series for the Hisui region. That's going to launch later this year. They showed a single drawing.
Okay, that's good. They did one for Sword and Shield, and I only remember the episode with Bae, the fighting gym leader, where she's fighting a Machamp, and the Machamp hits her in the arm, and it looks like she's fucking dying. And he's like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck! It's like one of those really quick scenes that they cut away from, but I was like, uh-oh. We're going a little too hard.
9th gen got announced, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. The announcement trailer, I could describe it. I'm not going to do that, though. Yeah, so they have giant wild areas. Like, it's an open world thing. They already said that in the description. It's going to be seamless.
Yeah, like
going between the open world of all of it and the cities and everything.
Yeah, that's how the tweets described it, where they're like, this is the open world Pokemon game they're making.
Yeah,
on the edge of my seat to see how Arceus this is.
Yeah, this genuinely confirms exactly what I thought playing Sword and Shield of, like, this wild area stuff seemed to be the excitement and where they wanted to take it, but it's just not done. So they shoved like the most straightforward Pokemon game to it to ship a game, which it sucks that they felt they had to do that. But this looks great. This seems like they built it for Switch, where I'm willing to bet that Sword and Shield was still built on top of the 3DS stuff. I think when you're a company that has historically done portable titles, you don't even need to have started your game on the 3DS to be suffering the tech problems of making a full ass game, right? So there's stuff sense. Like the character models look different, and I feel like they look different in a way that gives a performance, like there's less of a performance tax. Like that was just the impression I got looking at them. Yeah. Compared to like the ones from Sword and Shield, where it's like these still kind of look the same, but these look like lower, like there's less of a tax. Yeah. You hear that thing where it's like, yeah, the 3DS models for the Pokemon had some obscenely massive amount of polygon. Oh, absolutely. They didn't need to have. So I'm sure the character models must have been similar in that regard. Yeah. Yeah, and that obscene amount of polygons translated over to the Switch, where, you know, that's the sort of hardware that should be running models of that quality. Maybe someday we'll get a photo mode like Sun and Moon has in a game that can run well. Because I thought that was a really cool mini game, but it runs so bad. Oh, yeah, it was the worst it's ever been. It made me sad. But this looks super promising. They say it's releasing late 2022. It is based on Spain or Italy, and we've got some really cool starters. I love all three. Sprigatito, which is just green Banny. Fuecoco, which is a Fuego Crocodile or Cocodrillo. Mm. And then Quaxley. Yeah, Pepper Croc. Yeah, Pepper Croc is really good. Person in chat, sorry, I don't remember your name. They said they were going to name it Red Croc Chili Pepper. I'm like, God damn it. God. All I'm thinking about is we need to make it a bit every Friday. Flat Fuecoco Friday. Need to make it like those flat crocodiles. Yeah, I really hope the third form's the flattest, fattest fuck it can possibly be. Right. I know, yeah. I don't know, just fire ground. I don't know, make it like it's got the wick, just make it like a steel fire. This looks so good. The environments look amazing. There's really cool art design stuff in it. I'm very excited for them to share more. Outside of the starters, they didn't show a single new Pokemon. And they only showed the starters and drawings. So we still haven't in the game seen a new Pokemon yet. Unrelated to this, but I guess related to this, I think it was Pokemon Home updated their thing to say, you know, you can only transfer Pokemon out that are compatible with the games. And I'm like, why did this text change today? That's been the case. Just reminding you. Yeah, because now this new game's coming. People are gonna ask. Yeah, see, the weird thing is, like, some people are taking this as confirmation this won't have the full decks. I don't even know though, because obviously there are already games that aren't compatible with everything. Like, I think the decks for Arceus is 230, 216-ish. Somewhere in that range. Yeah, it's something in there. You know, not 906. Yeah. It's like they have a pretty large decks and regional variants and ways to get the originals. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's it for Pokemon Day stuff. Really promising stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about Scarlet and Violet. It's going to be a true test for the most important thing, finding a friend I know that's picking Scarlet.
Yeah, I was gonna say aggro. Which version are you getting?
I usually just pick the one that's getting picked the least because it doesn't. I don't care about legendaries all that
We
much.
got
So
it!
Yeah, there we go. We got a
I'll
Scarlet.
take whatever.
In this house, it was like, I guess we got 4 Violets in here.
Yeah, it was like me, Bob, Tosh, and KZ are all like, uh-oh.
I'll fucking put on the tabard and go on crusade. Let's do it.
And then they're like, this time, Gothitelle will be in Violet.
I mean, this may be the first Pokemon game where I actually pick up both versions, just so I can have a stream copy.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're still stuck in the we're scared for some reason of letting you have save slots.
I could just use a separate user account and just use one copy,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'll see. Yeah, that's it. We finally hit the end of my news. 9th gen's looking amazing. I'm super jazzed about Pokemon. We gotta have a conversation though, because I've had this conversation a few times since this announcement. It has nothing to do with this announcement.
Okay.
When people talk about what gen is the best gen of Pokemon, do you think it's weird if they come out to bat for a gen really hard, okay? They're like, nah, 4th gen is the best. 4th gen's amazing. 4th gen is incredible. And then they go, because of Rangers or some other spinoff. Like in their head, 4th gen means all the spinoffs that came out around then.
I can see that where it's like there's this era of Pokemon games that's just, it's like firing in some way. Like maybe they like XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum a lot, so they are more in double battles, so they more gravitate toward 3rd gen.
But see, that would be bizarre because then someone could go 4th gen sucked because the Wii Coliseum game's bad, and that's insane.
I mean, yeah. But I can see people treating it more as an era, whereas I feel like the more popular thing is these games, like the core games.
Yeah, no, I've never run into the broader view of that.
I only ran into that in the last week.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time when people talk gens, they talk mechanics of the mainline games. They talk about the mainline games.
I can just see where someone's coming from when they say that, but I wouldn't necessarily attach myself to that.
But see, it gets really weird though, because if we're going to do that, then I have to be like, well, 3rd gen's the greatest because it has the best pinball game.
That is true. It also has some mystery dungeon games.
And yes. And then 4th gen's the worst because that Wii Coliseum game's so bad.
Fucking Battle Revolution.
That thing is so bad. Let me explain. I saw Pokemon Stadium 2, skipped Gale of Darkness. I didn't know. Nobody warned me that rules like XD.
Yeah.
And then I check back in on the franchise in time for the Wii one and go, how is it running at 10 frames a second?
Yeah, it's like Coliseum and XD are just new Pokemon adventure things. That one dude has 4 Ludicolo.
Yeah.
It's great.
But yeah, no, I maybe I'll get to check out XD at some point. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up. We're now going to go to feel for, sadly, esports related news.
Oh my god.
What I'm about to read, Capcom has already done the they posted the cyberpunk apology image.
Oh, I believe Feel
their version of that
described that in the past as "We're sorry, we're sorry, we're sorry."
I just want to.
Yeah, they
as you're about to go in, I would like to remind everyone. He literally said esports should die last week.
Yeah.
Now please continue.
Luckily, it seems to be a lot of people agree with that take.
Yes.
Capcom tried to roll out a new Street Fighter V event licensing structure. It was like, unless you get our special this is what your normal license that isn't a big esports license you can do. You can't have more than $2,000 for a prize pool, and you can't take in more than $5,000 in advertising. There was also a per year limit. So if like the same tournament organizer does like quarterly or monthlies, you'll probably go over. Spectator fees are banned. Most events have those right now. Even if it's just like $5 to get into the venue. Anybody attending the events waives the rights to being used in Capcom marketing. Capcom has the right to use stream footage from those events. Both of these are fucked up because TOs pay professional photographers and prefer professional stream production, and Capcom just gets all that now in exchange for nothing. Larger events have to get an esports license, which the terms of which aren't public and are probably more stringent. and like sometimes is paying 6 digits of money and sometimes is paying 5 digits of money and sometimes isn't paying money. It's all a mystery. We don't know.
It could even be a union.
Even Tekken and Mortal Kombat don't do this. Capcom really seems to think they're still the leader of the fighting games space, which
absolutely.
isn't fucking true and has not been true since Street Fighter 4 came out.
Yeah, I think that was it then. That was the case then. And since then, it has been less and less real.
Like, they're not the best, like, their games aren't the best selling ones anymore. Tekken and Mortal and NetherRealm sell more. They're not the most played ones anymore. Even in like a tournament context, so I'm not sure why they think they have the clout to do this. And apparently somebody woke up there and they published we fucked up. We're taking your feedback into consideration as we strip all of this shit out and maybe never mention it again.
Yeah, because literally no one took this in a positive light. Not a soul.
It would be impossible to take this in a positive
I
light.
like Maximilian Dude's video about this, where it's just the Eric Andre shooting the dude thing, but it's Capcom shooting Capcom, saying, "Why would Capcom do this?"
Right?
Yeah, it's like, guys, if the choice is jump through all these hoops or don't run Street Fighter 5,
Yeah. You're just crushing your community.
That's not a hard decision for most TOs at this point.
Yeah, most of them would like to move on from Street Fighter 5.
But who knows if this will like resurface as some horrible 8-headed dragon when Street Fighter 6 is closer to coming out. Maybe that, because our interpretation of their fucking terrible esports logo and then this happening the next week is not the image they want to be presenting. But let's move on. Nipponichi Software of America revealed a new logo, which is bad.
I actually think it's okay. Not good. Okay.
It is not Bandai Namco's new logo.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's throw this in so Aggro can see it. Because
yeah, I'm trying to find it. I thought I saved it here somewhere.
I don't know.
Maybe
pull out Microsoft Paint. I think you can make it.
Because I just ran into the National Independent Soccer Association. I'm like, wow, we're all going shitty esports logos.
Okay, there we go. So
no, that's Nipponichi.
I know.
Software.
I'm putting it up as a reference. So there's Nipponichi Software at the bottom. The left you see there, Aggro, is Nipponichi Software America's old logo, and the right's the new one. So they're trying to do the original Nipponichi Software logo for the American branch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going for. I don't think it looks bad. That's my take, though.
It doesn't look bad on its own, but it is a downgrade. Like I didn't even know what fucking Nice America was for most of my life. I could spot that logo from across a GameStop.
Yeah.
Like all of the character has been stripped out of it.
No, it's monochrome now. That definitely pops more.
Yeah, it's good.
It would be very identifiable on your box of the Trails game that released on the PSP.
For $50 that they didn't dub it.
Yeah, because they're like, all of our stuff coming up is going to have this logo. And I'm like, oh, we got some great bangers to put on it at the start.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax will get rollback post-launch this summer because somebody went like, guys, this ain't selling no copies without this. You need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did.
Like no matter how much crazy Persona fans scream that you're getting 2 visual novels, nobody care. No care.
it's like yeah, you do in fact get those visual novels. This game's old. This is not like a new game.
No.
It's coming up with new visual novels. Like I got that already, and I already got the big stuff where they've put like social link fucking tarot cards if you bought that. It's like it's been out.
I wanted to say I'm pretty sure the update says it is coming to PC and PS4 versions of this, meaning the Switch is left out in the cold.
Yeah, Switch does not, in fact, get this technology.
The number one console that should get it, the one where it's Wi-Fi only and extremely limited on a USB Ethernet side, isn't going to get it.
It's okay. They get 2 visual novels.
Ooh.
But yeah, this is great news because, I was like, all right, I will buy it now. It's like, it's no big deal. I like those fighting games a lot. I would like them on a modern platform.
Yeah, I would love to play them. I would love to play them with a rollback.
Yeah, which it's great that they read the room. Someone's like, I can't believe they came to that decision. I'm like, here's what happened. One of their employees went, People keep saying rollback. I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. Oh, okay. Successful fighting games have it. And everyone fucking says something about it in every fighting game ever now. All right, well, we'll be in a good news cycle. I guess we'll do it.
This really does feel like these gamers keep asking for anti-aliasing. Do you think we should look into that?
And Nintendo says no.
And they're right to do it. If it's going to eat the shit out of performance, which it's the Switch, it's memory bandwidth limited. Absolutely, fucking give me those raw dog pixels.
So Babylon's Fall is now out. It came out today, the day we're recording this. You can't make a let's keep that energy going. Apparently you cannot make a black character in Babylon's Fall.
Oh God, yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah, I like Imran Khan's tweet of just a picture of what the darkest shade is with what?
Like, you have the option to select a black skin tone. The game's not going to let you use it.
I'm willing to give them the rope and say they just chose the lighting for that screen really poorly, but any human being should have looked at that.
I feel like that's in the same universe of people going, well, it's not that Ishtal in Final Fantasy XIV has slowly become more white. It's just the lighting's weird in every single location now.
So I have an addendum to this thing KZ wants us to do. I have an extra layer of bet we need to make.
Oh, fuck.
Do we need to look at what Balin's numbers are?
No.
Wow.
So KZ wants Field to look up the Twitch numbers, and we're going to guess. Here's what we're going to guess, though. Is it going to be above or below the Steam all-time high number of 647?
Yeah, I saw a reset error thread going, we've got our all-time peak for Babylon's Fall right now at 647.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, it's going to be significantly lower.
You think? I think people would love to rubberneck the game more so than buy it.
No, so I don't even think it's earned that. I think it has not stuck in the memory of a single human being alive.
All right, well, make your bet now since you're going to be the one checking it. You might as well just say it before you know it.
Lower. I'm going to say it's going to be somewhere around 80. Like, dead fucking bottom.
I'm going to say it's going to be above 647. I'm going to say it's somewhere around 800.
I don't even think it's breaking that. I think we're going to hit 200 tops.
Okay. Casey?
I'm going to say it's a launch, and it's going to be good for this level. So I'm going to say 1,500.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
I'm going to go for something like that, and it will never reach this again.
Let me hit the buttons here.
It feels like I'm trying to look at this number, but all I see is the shadow of Elden Ring.
Dude, that's what happened. Maximilian was doing a stream where it's like, here, I'm doing a sponsored stream of Babylon's Fall, and then tapped out after, an hour? And then just went, here's Elden Ring, let's go.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I'm seeing this number now, too, Phil. I understand why you're making that sound.
45.
What?
There are two streams.
2 people streaming it.
Okay, you need to understand why I made that. I checked when I woke up.
Yeah?
It was 2,100.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, surely it will hold for 3 hours.
KZ, that was one person doing a sponsored stream and they stopped.
No, I checked.
There
were multiple. It looked okay. Okay, man. It's fucking done good. Burn.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't play that game and want to keep playing it.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is, like, you could entertain that there would be people, like even I would like to do a Babylon's Fall stream to check it out, but it just can't keep going.
No.
Like,
there's nothing.
That's the problem. Here's the secret. The game's bad.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, if let's say that Babylon's Fall was not a live service game, it was a normal platinum game.
Yeah.
Everything else was the same, though. It still felt bad and had horrible loot systems. At least you could persist going, maybe there will be some insane story thing that will activate any neurons and is worth cataloging for the human race. But because this is a fucking live service game, it's no, you made an endless amount of mush.
Like you play 40 minutes of Babylon's Fall. You've played countless hours of Babylon's Fall. There's no change.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it had a normal platinum game structure, there absolutely would be more viewers.
Yeah, and the fact that it's this current battle pass they're on is going to have a Nier Automata event where it's going to play significantly worse than the game that they're collabing with.
And they're the people who made it is the saddest part.
And they pitched it as a Nier Automata that doesn't end and plays worse.
Yeah, I need to
and
talk,
looks worse. Go ahead.
I need to talk about this for a second. Everybody who's like Square Enix caused this, shut the fuck up. No, they didn't. Like, I have to say this, but Platinum propositioned this. Platinum took money from Tencent that they used to open a studio to make more games like this, and their CEO 2 weeks ago said they wanted to take the company in this direction. It is blatant at this point that this is what Platinum wants to make.
Yeah, and it's also
like you can't like, I've heard this complaint about Platinum fans where people say they think Platinum is the protagonist of the game industry, and you really have to think that to look at this game and look at everything surrounding it and be like, it's someone else's fault. Nah, brah.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, I thought that 9 years ago when it was remotely reflective of reality, when they were on the up and up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even play Platinum games, and all I hear is people giving Platinum rope, and guys, maybe they made a few great games.
Here's what happened. Everyone there lives in 2013 and hasn't left yet. They're really excited about all the things that happened at E3, and Metal Gear Rising's really cool. I was in that same mode too, where I'm like, they should make everything. They should make a kill game.
Yeah, they had really great output they were one of the few companies that had really great output through 7th gen, and then I guess they just got 7th gen disease on a delay.
Yeah.
Platinum is basically the equivalent of the band Boston if they shipped that first album, the one with all the bangers, and then became Weezer.
I feel like it's an insult to Weezer at this point.
Jeff Keighley announces he's joining Platinum.
But yeah, it's super depressing that it's like, no, here's all of this evidence that Platinum just wants to make it this garbage, which is why I need this to bomb so they can think, maybe no.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
I think that's covered.
Steam all high is the lowest I've seen remotely recently.
I'm like, you're bombing worse than Crucible.
Like, there's a reason that people keep comparing this to Balan, and it's not only the Square Enix connection. It's like, this is the same level of you pick it up, you touch it, and you go, no, and you put it back down.
Yeah, I had someone separately who's like, I'll engage with this because I know it'll be terrible. And they're like, KZ, have you ever played a game where you move the stick and it feels wrong? And I'm like, I have, actually. It came out last year. It also had a demo that told you to stay away. It's called Balan Wonderworld.
Yeah, if you wanna blame like Square for anything, I guess blame them for the fact they give rope to get weird titles like this.
That is what I have the whole world. Square Enix's problem is clearly not that they are micromanaging these outsourced projects. It's that they're not even looking at them.
That's how it feels.
Which honestly, I feel like our culture needs some truly horrible games. So at times I'm like, good for you. We need more Quiet Mans.
Do you think all of these are like headed by the same guy in Square Enix, and then that guy is currently going to be shot into the sun?
That would be incredibly funny if they did that. The amount of separate people who don't follow each other going, is this like a tax shelter thing? Is this like some scheme they do and that's why they do it?
Good lord.
Oh god, it's like the producers but for video games.
Yes.
See, I might be able to buy that because of the four kings of Square Enix not looking at their fucking projects. The Quiet Man, Left Alive, and this all seem really cheap, but Balan had money. It at least had more money than it deserved.
Yeah, it had visual work, like cutscenes in it.
Yeah, it had way more money than Babylon's Fall. That much is insanely apparent.
These four kings are like the four kings in Street Fighter, but they're all Fang.
Yes.
It's like, wait, what do you mean? Rufus isn't one of the four kings of Shadowloo. What the fuck's he doing here?
Four Rufuses. Varying heights.
It's like
and
the four
descriptions.
kings. No, the four kings that are like Abigail, Ducapri, Fang, and Rufus. The four Square Enix kings.
And they're all doing the Gohan thumb.
Yeah, I've already I've already played one of them. I don't need to play any of the others.
Yeah, this is a real bummer, but whatever. Square Enix, keep giving people rope, but maybe have a bar for quality in the future.
Yeah, potentially, right?
Any bar for quality, thank you.
Literally any at all.
And finally, Star Wars Eclipse, that Star Wars David Cage game is. I'm gonna be bold and say this game is never coming out based on what that has come out today.
100%.
They are saying this game is now scheduled to come out in 2027 or 2028 because they cannot find people to work for Quantic Dream. They announced it basically before they had even actually started development in an attempt to get people to come work for Quantic Dream because they would want to work on this game. They have had over 60 open positions in like significant roles open for over a year. Can you believe that nobody wants to work for a company that is constantly in the news for being a toxic workplace and has a guy who ran out crying when someone pointed out he's homophobic?
Right? Like putting out this trailer to drive Quantic Dream recruitment. It's like those pictures you see on the internet of bombed out abandoned buildings where somebody spray painted free ice cream and an arrow pointing to a door.
Yeah, every single reaction to the trailer for Star Wars Eclipse of the Game Awards was the exact same. Of people going, this seems interesting. I'm in this. And then it ends with a Quantic Dream logo and they go, ugh!
Oh, there's tons of people who didn't know who Quantic Dream were that got excited and then had to have it explained to them.
Yeah, it was either, or who?
Yeah, the state of this game when they announced that, when all of that stuff came out a few months ago, was insane. Where it's like, yeah, it's going to be an MMO and they're still using the same engine. So they're trying to get it to work at all. It's not. I'm like, then why did you announce?
Like Phil just said, they said it's going to come out in 2027 or 2012. This is the video game industry. Those years aren't real yet.
No.
Yeah,
2025 or arguably 4 also aren't real yet.
2025 is like the limits of what's real. If somebody said we're shooting for this game to come out in 2025, I'd be like, wow, you announced that way too fucking early.
Yeah,
and then I would stop thinking about it. But this is like, guys, Disney isn't going to let you sit there in your own shit for 7 years.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, they just announced a PS6 game, I guess. 2027, 2028, come on.
And I made this joke, like, Disney, right before Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was announced, made this statement like, we're going to be really picky with our partners on these projects. And it looks like going forward, it might turn out to be that means we only work with Sony and Respawn.
Yeah, I was going to say Sony and Respawn are the only people that are going to get access. That and devs for mobile games.
It would be really funny if if a year from now they're just like, this Sony studio is now making Star Wars Eclipse.
I'd be like, oh, cool. Okay, sure.
You said that for Naughty Dog in one of our chats, and I said anything to avoid The Last of Us 3.
Don't worry, KZ. The remake will be The Last of Us 3. The remake of Last of Us 1 will take the role of Last.
Oh, okay. It's what it's going to explode a number like Final Fantasy Versus 13 becoming 15. It's like, this is it.
I would genuinely like to see Naughty Dog take on Star Wars because their whole thing is supposed to be spectacle, and Star Wars' whole thing is supposed to be spectacle. So perfect tight match. Oh man, even if this game does come out, which is incredibly unlikely, who in their right fucking mind was like, this game where you stumble around as humans acting like automatons? That's how we want Jedis to move.
We also want a combat system.
Yeah, they want to make it an MMO. What the fuck are they thinking? Ugh.
Cool.
There's no universe where anyone thought it was a good idea to let David Cage anywhere near a Twi'lek.
Well, marketers would because their games review well and sell well.
You see, I was interested in it because it was going to be incredibly fucked up and funny.
Yeah, I was interested to see what thing would the Disney Council not pay enough attention to that David Cage would permanently make canonical in the Star Wars universe. like the Force is all the spirits of aborted children or something insane.
Oh no, they're just gonna write a dialogue scene that's super optional. You wouldn't normally run into where Lando talks to Chewbacca about being judged. That's just gonna be in there. It's gonna be like, David Cage, I'm gonna need you to go back to not thinking you're saying important things.
Yeah. Also, Dan, that's wrong. It would be a droid talking to Lando about how the droid is oppressed, and Lando could never understand.
Yeah, that is what David Cage does, and then the droid goes to the back of the droid bus.
God.
Looks at a poster for Space American Football.
Thank you for the news.
Well, that's it for news. We had some good news. This is bad news, but that happens. In the next week, I will be playing. I've already done this, but Gran Turismo 7.
Yes,
Very excited for that. Extremely excited for that. Also, we should be doing another new Pokemon Snap stream same day as this goes up. We'll see.
Yep.
Bob being sick and all.
Yep.
And that's it for me. KZ?
Elden Ring continues. By the time this comes out, I might have actually broken through the barrier probably, though. And then I'll move on to something else, maybe Triangle Strategy. I'll see about doing that. It's going to be that or FF6. We'll figure it out.
Dr. Aggro?
I will continue to suddenly and randomly appear on content.
Yes!
And Mr. Feel.
Elden Ring.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. If you would like to support us, head on over to www.patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get extra podcasts and early access to our anime podcast, Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool. Head on over there and become a $5 backer or podlord today. This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Starfalcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.